All right, good evening, everybody. Can we just make some noise for all the mothers in the room? And for those of you who are tuning in on live, one more time, make some noise for those that are in the virtual mommy room on the mommy couch. Okay, so right now, what I want you guys to do for me, if you have your phones, please take your phones out. Those of you who are in the room, in the live audience, I want you to take your phone out, go to Truth Generation Church, to our church page, and share the live for us, okay? And then those of you who are tuning in on live, if you can share the live with someone and tag a friend. If you're on the live, tag a mommy friend in on the live, okay? So y'all give us a second, let us share. Okay, everybody get a chance to share it? Great, wonderful, thank you all. Okay, so can y'all give some hearts on the screen and make some noise for all of the beautiful mothers that are sitting on the couch with us today? I am going to let them introduce themselves in just a moment, but I want to introduce myself for those of you who do not know. My name is Erica Cunningham, a.k.a. PL, a.k.a. Pastor Lady. I put PL in front because they very seldomly say Pastor Lady. They always say PL. But I am just one of the pastors of Truth Generation Church, and I am married to the amazing Apostle Kenneth Cunningham. Whoop, whoop. And I am the curator and I guess our host tonight of the More Than a Mom Couch Conversations. I think this is absolutely needed, and I had so much fun putting this together, and I'm super excited about the conversation that we're going to have tonight. I am a mom of 4 children under the age of 10, okay? Really under the age of 8. 10 because she's getting on up there. But I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and in like a week or two, a 1-year-old. Okay, so praise the Lord. I spent my whole 20s having children and helping my husband build church. So the 30s, if you see me outside, mind your business, okay? Because I did my part. I was fruitful. I multiplied. When you see me in my Challenger riding with my sunglasses on, just say, hey, PL, chunk up the deuces. And we're going to keep going, okay? But I love my babies. I absolutely love being a mom. And what I have found out is not only am I a wife, not only am I a pastor or a first lady, but I'm a mother, and it does not stop there. I'm so much more than that. I am an entrepreneur. I am an author. I got to remember that, y'all. I have my own journal, the Mommy Journal. I'm very proud of that. And the biggest thing for me is I have a heart for mothers. I have such a heart for mothers, and I didn't understand that that is actually a ministry. I never really understood that. We know, the mother's board in the church, and we know spiritual mothers and all of that, but I have a heart and a passion for other mothers and motherhood because this thing is tough. When I was being raised, I didn't understand. But then you start buying refrigerators and buying houses and cars and you get grown. See, I tell the saints they ain't grown until they bought an appliance. Not a car, but an appliance. Yeah, an appliance. When you have to go to Home Depot and pick out the perfect refrigerator, then you grown. But I didn't realize this until I started having children, and then I have friends who are moms and ministering to the mothers in our church and helping them with their spiritual walk. And I really do have a passion for moms, and so that's what birthed the Mommy Journal, just to give us an outlet. Now, this is what I found out, and this is why we're on the couch tonight. Because we are supposed to work a job, have babies, because if you don't have babies, then what's wrong with you? Get married, And then some of our mamas like, well, your clock ticking, you gotta do what you got to do. But have children, work a job. Some of us are ministry leaders. Even if you are not a senior leader, you still serve in ministry somewhere. We're supposed to do all of this. Make sure we got our edges. Wear a girdle. Have lashes on. I'm telling y'all, we're going to have fun tonight, okay? Just have ourselves together. Make sure you don't post the wrong picture. Don't say the wrong thing. And then when it comes to our children, you got to now gentle parent. You have to, you're not supposed to spank them out in public. It's a lot. And it's so many things that I feel like, now y'all let me know if I'm wrong or right or what your opinion is, but I feel like it's so many things we're really not allowed to talk about because it's like you chose to have them kids. Well, one night, me and my husband was just trying to have a little fun. And then apparently it was the right time of the month because obviously some children came along. Okay, I was just trying to have a little fun. Now, a few of my kids are playing, but it was still trying to have fun, okay? But it's like you chose to have these children, so you can't complain. You cannot have a bad day. You can't say, I love my babies, but they working my nerves today. Like, they running me up the wall. And it's not safe for us to say that. So I wanted to create a space where I don't care what society says. I don't care what the world says. We love Jesus. We're not going to say anything wrong, but I wanted to create a space where we can not only have conversation, but allow other people to hear the conversation and chime in as well. And so that's what More Than a Mom Couch Conversations is. And More Than a Mom, because we're not just mommies. We fine out here in these streets. Okay, in the church, we are beautiful. Okay, we are entrepreneurs. We are how many entrepreneurs? Okay, we are therapists. Okay, period. Career women. Okay, we are living life, and a big part of it is being a mom, but it's so much more than that. So we're gonna talk about all things mommy, but in the words of Devin, all the things. Okay, not just mommy stuff, but all the stuff. So I am going to give these ladies a chance to introduce themselves, whether you are single or married, how many children you have, whatever you want to say about yourself briefly. Okay, Lady Barbie, you can start.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kanisha Franklin. I am the proud First Lady of the Power Spot Church. Woo, 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 woo. One of the best churches in the city. I am married to my handsome face, Courtney Franklin. We have been married for almost 8 years now, together for almost 10. We have 3 children, but the one that's giving me the hardest time is the smallest one. So y'all pray for me. I'm failing at gentle parenting. God is perfecting patience in me. So we're just going to be transparent tonight. I plan on letting y'all inside of my 4 walls, and I hope that y'all can give me the same.
Hello, everyone. I am Minette Morris, and I am First Lady of Messiah Fellowship, Memphis. I'm excited to be here tonight to hear what everyone has to say and to share my story as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a woman in ministry. And it's just going to be a fun time, and I'm excited.
Hey everybody, I am Devin Blaylock. I am married and I am the head of housing and children's development in my home. So that means that I am a stay-at-home mom. I also tutor and sing and whatnot on the side. That's me.
Hello everybody, my name is Marnicia Mosby. I'm single. I have 1 child, a son. He's 6 years old. I'm an author, and I'm an entrepreneur. So yeah, that's it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bree Jackson. I'm married. I have a 2-year-old daughter. I'm an entrepreneur. I work full-time. Currently, I'm a student. So I kind of got a lot of things going on. My daughter, she keeps me on my toes. It's never a dull moment. So that's my life.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alana Armour. I'm an elder at Living Word Memphis, and my husband is Pastor Javon Armour. We've been married for 7 years, just celebrated our 7th year anniversary last week, I believe. And whoop, whoop. And we have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and yeah, it is something raising a mini version of yourself. So, so yeah.
Okay, so one more time, give it up for all of the ladies, all of the moms. All right, so let's dig in. I've been waiting. I'm gonna kick these off. Y'all, I'm a country girl, okay? Y'all can't tell by now. You'll get to know it. All right, how many children do we have? 3, 4, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, Lady Morris, how old are your children?
The youngest is 2. She'll be 3 on the 19th. I have a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
So we're going from 10 down. Okay, now y'all, her name is Lady Franklin. My husband and I call her Lady Barbie, okay? Because she looks like a Barbie doll. So y'all, this is Lady Barbie. Welcome. Okay, ages.
19, 7, and 2, about to be 3.
19, 7, and 2. Devin.
4 and 2.
4 and 2. Alana.
4 and 2.
4 and 2. 2.
6.
6. Okay. For the parents with multiple children, which child is your, I don't want to say hardest, but which child is your most rambunctious and why? Let me start.
It's Cairo.
Cairo, okay, go
It's
ahead.
Cairo.
Okay, why?
Spider-Man, Spider-Deacon.
Spider Deacon.
He climbs on everything. He tears up everything. He's a very curious child. So he just want to know how everything works. If I do this, what's going to happen? So all day long, his mind does not stop. So his favorite place to be right now is on the top of his bed. And he just lay there. Because he fell out one time. He realized the ground don't move. So he just was like, I'm going to stay. This is safe. I'll slide my leg across the bar, but I ain't going to go back out. That is him all day, everywhere. So we don't go very many places. Deacon Spider-Man.
Deacon Spider-Man. Okay. Lady Moore.
I would have to say Isaac. And the reason why I say that is because he loves to explore. And I have to keep my eyes on him consistently because if I take my eyes off, I have to go running. Running why? Because he's into something. Experimenting with hair products or something. He loves insects, so if we're outside, he's lifting up my river rocks trying to find worms. I mean, it's a lot. So we just bought a gecko for his birthday, and I put the aquarium or the terrarium in the family room because if I had not, it would be in his bed. So he's that and a whole lot more. Yeah.
Okay, so how old is Isaac?
Isaac is 6.
6, yes. Okay, so 2 boys so far.
I would have to look. Everybody already. I would have Cody. I would have to say Cody is. She's very unique, and she's very talented with talking. She's into everything. She's into preaching. She's into singing. She's into makeup. She thinks she can dress herself. So every morning I have to argue with a 2-year-old about what matches and what does not match because she's been dressing herself for 6 months. So if y'all see her with a purple shirt on and some green socks, she picked it. So I just gave up. I gave up on arguing with her. So I kind of just let whatever the morning's going to be, I just kind of let it be because gentle parenting is not my strong suit because Cody talks very well and she talks back a lot. So a mini version of myself, as you call it, yeah. She talks back a lot, so I have to Y'all, when I say exercise every piece of patience that God gave me, at every second of the day, that's what I'm doing. Cody is into everything. She has an opinion about everything. She can control everything. She can do all things through Christ that strengthens her. So just pray for me and pray for my husband. And if y'all see me walking outside butt naked, Cody done made me lose my mind. She done made me lose my mind. I don't know. So just keep me in your prayers.
Okay, 2 boys, 1 girl. Alana.
I was really trying to think because my 4-year-old is Ariana. She's a girl. 2-year-old is Asa. He's a boy. Ariana's wordplay is something serious. Like, I just can't. She's so quick with it. And I don't really know how to gauge it sometimes. I'd be like, did you really just say that? And she does the looks that I do. Like, it's me. It's literally me in miniature form. And so, but then Asa, on the other hand, he's so adventurous. So he want to go run. He want to be on the podium. He want to preach. He want to, I wish I had, with his dad preaching. And so it's just kind of, they a tie. They a tie for me.
Okay, so they're a tie. Okay. You guys only have 1 child. What is it like with just 1 child?
I love being a mom.
I love how you just with the disclaimer.
We're gonna put that out there. I love being a mom. My daughter is 2 years old, but I think I was sharing with someone earlier that I feel like she's been 2 her whole life. Like, no, seriously, because when she was 1, she was doing things that was well above what they say a 2-year-old should be doing. And it would just be things that she learned on her own. She's very receptive. She retains very well. She's very charismatic. She's funny. She's very challenging. She knows Spanish. And so some things she'll say, I'm like, how you know that? And she'll be like, I know everything. And I'm like, how you know to say that, though? So she is fun. Like I said, she's challenging. And one day she just started speaking Spanish. I'm like, I got to start watching what she's watching because she's coming in the house. Come on, stop. I'm like, what I learned in high school. Yeah, muy bien. so that's Kinsley. Her name is Kinsley Rain, stands for rainbow. So I love being a mom.
For me, it's interesting. I do love being a mom. I think my son makes it pretty easy. Most parents out here with 6-year-olds, they say how their kids are really clingy and things of that nature. That's not my son. He chilling. Sometimes I have to say, you want to watch a movie with me? He say, I'm going to my house. He calls the room his house because he got everything in there. So that he makes it easier. But my most difficult part with parenting has been him with being sick, asthma. But anything outside of that, I think he pretty much make it easy.
So it's a little different when it's 1 child versus when you have multiple, because it's like, woo, now you're juggling multiple personalities. So I think for me, my most rambunctious child, Lord have mercy, would have to be Kingston Cunningham. Kingston is 3. I love being a mom. Kingston is, Lord, he's quick-witted too. So Kaysen is the middle child, and everyone knows Kaysen is autistic. And so his speech development is, he's progressing, but he doesn't talk as well as your typical 6-year-old, your neurotypical 6-year-old. So going from Iana to Kaysen to Kingston, it's like, oh, where did you learn this? His vocabulary is so big. And he's like, oh, Mom, that's awesome. Oh, that's amazing. And I'm like, at 2, like, where did you learn this? And it's one day he just woke up and started talking. But the most thrilling part of Kingston is not his vocabulary. He's so strong-willed, y'all. Most people would say stubborn, but Kingston is strong-willed. He wants what he wants when he wants it. You cannot change his mind. It is like negotiation where, like, he is so strong-willed. And so having to manage his little personality sometimes is very, very difficult. He is adventurous. He is all over the place as well. But it's going. It is. Kason is our Spider-Man. He's a cat. He jumps off the high places and lands on his feet always. He never falls. But, Kingston, so I think boys. Now, I have one girl and the rest are boys. And just seeing the difference, it's like boys. Yeah. Yeah, they are interesting, very, very interesting. So, Lady Barbara, you said something earlier. You said you learn to pick your battles. I live by pick your battles. Okay? I live by pick your battles. What do you all think about that? Because it's like with Kingston, he has a pair of Crocs too, actually. Too little. His heels, y'all, are hanging off the back of the Croc. So one pair is blue and yellow, and if he has on the blue shirt, I'm telling him, Kingston, get different shoes. Those are too little. But it's blue. It doesn't matter what color it is. It's too little. So one day I said, I don't care. I'm picking my battles. These shoes, not a battle. When y'all see him with them two little Crocs on, I'm a wonderful mom. He made it through the night. He's alive. He ate. He has on clothes and shoes. The shoes just too little. So what do you guys think about that? Like picking your battles. What does it look like for you? Is it something you kind of go by? What do you think?
I'll go from parenting, but also like my educational background. So child development was something that I had to study when I was in undergrad with psychology, and then when I got my master's for social work. And so it was something about how developmentally your child isn't on the same level as you. But in that moment, your patience makes you think y'all are on the same level. And so you start feeling like, you understand me. No, they really don't. They really don't. And so something I had to realize, like, I have to take a step back and regulate myself so that they don't feel like what I'm modeling is okay, right? So it's a lot of check yourself, Alana, and then address. So for instance, before we came here, my son, he was just so frustrated after daycare, and I knew my frustration was just about to make him more frustrated. And I was just like, just stop kicking. Let me change your diaper. And he just kept kicking. You know what? I said, okay. I picked him up and I hugged him. And he just laid his head on me, and I was just like, I just told my husband, like, come and get him because I'm not going to be able to do my makeup or my hair because he's frustrated. And in that moment, I had to realize that if I met him where he wasn't going to respond to me. He's 2. Right? And his response was going to be something that triggered me. So I had to pick my battles, but also regulate myself and realize I'm not fighting with somebody at the same level as me. Right. I will never be able to do that with him or her.
Question. Mm-hmm. So is picking the battle not regulating myself?
Give me an example.
I could fuss at Kingston about the 2 little Crocs. Like, bro, these Crocs too little now. Go get some different shoes. I done said what I said. And, like, kind of go there. But if I just say, you know what, if you want to wear them, whatever, you got on shoes. Is that me regulating myself?
One, yes, but also I feel like for kids who want to have a set thing, kids thrive off structure, first of all, but also kids like to have some type of control. You control what they eat that morning. You control what they wear in terms of their clothes. So something, whether it's their favorite color cup, their favorite color plate, like it's just something that they can control. And so when you tell them, no, they can't have it, like, I can't have nothing to myself. I can't do nothing. And so sometimes you got to relinquish. They be like, you know what? Where are your shoes? Are they on your left shoe on your right foot? But it's okay. We're going to fix it when we get in the car. Sometimes it's about choosing when as well to pick your battles. So.
That's so good. Y'all, listen.
That's so good.
I feel like I should have brought my notebook, okay?
Seriously.
You just taught me something. Woo.
I'm a little ashamed if I'm going to tell y'all why. Because my daughter is so smart that, as crazy as it sounds, but I'm going to be very transparent. I'm thinking, like you just said, girl, you can tell me you want hot sauce on your chicken. So clearly you understand me telling you that this shoe is blue, your shirt is green, and this does not match. So I'm thinking, okay, she understands, but my husband had to check me. He like, Kanisha, no matter how much you think she understands based on how smart she is and how intellectual she is, she does not get what you're saying because she only wants what she wants. And I'm thinking every day, oh my God, me and my daughter, I'm getting teary-eyed, I'm getting stressed out. I'm like, oh Lord, this gonna be a generation of curse. We gonna be arguing when seriously, because that's a generational curse in my family. So I'm like, okay, did it start with shoes with my cousin and my auntie? Like, how did it start? So I really try to not beat myself up about it, but I do have to check myself a lot because my daughter is that independent. I want to have at least one thing. I want this cup. I want this shirt. And I hate feeling like the mom that says no all of the time. But she asks for stuff, and it's like, you just asked me for something 2 seconds ago. The second before that, the second before that. So by the time it's time to compromise, I've exercised, in my mind, I've exercised all of my patience. So just, and I was feeling guilty even with picking my battles because I'm like, am I giving up or am I being productive? Because I would just say, okay, you can just wear the shoe, whatever. But that's still condescending, and she's still feeling my energy. So I had to even check. Now I got to check myself, checking myself. So, so I'm going back like, okay, Kanisha, you can't say it like that. Okay, Cody. And then you can come down here with Cody, but she is up here. And then you get even lower, and then she stays here. And it's like, okay, God, you really want me to be patient with this baby. So I got to keep trying to tell her the same thing. But I try to take every lesson out of parenting because it's a bigger picture. I'm going to have to use that some way in life beyond my child. So you really helped me with that, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to jump in real quick. I'm so glad you're here. I really am, because on the line of checking yourself, like Lady Barbie here is saying, God really does show you yourself through your children. And I've noticed that when I'm frustrated, my daughter she'll pick up on it. So lately her thing is, it's okay, Mommy. It's okay. It's going to be okay. And so I'm holding myself together because whether I'm frustrated at her or it's something that happened at work or whatever it was, she is picking up on that. So children hear what you say, but they watch what you do. Yes. So another thing that I've also learned was when I'm trying to tell her something or correct her, not to stand up because I'm 5'6" and she's, a few feet tall. So I start to swoop down to her face level and I talk to her, and I can see that I've received a better response from her. That way she's not fearful of Mommy, because I want to establish a relationship so whatever is going on at school, she's able to come and talk to me. Yeah. So that's something that I've learned. Like when I'm frustrated, do a breathing exercise or something.
Because they pick up on it.
Yeah. And I don't want her to be like, okay, I did something else wrong, because children have feelings too. And they may not articulate in words, but you'll see it in behavior, or you'll see it in some form of a pattern. So we're learning and growing together. No, I'm talking about me and my daughter. No, for real.
But can I say this one thing? I do apologize to my daughter as well. Yeah. Because sometimes I miss it, and I don't want her to think it's okay, so I apologize. Mm-hmm. I don't care if I miss it 4 times in a day. I'm going to apologize to her every time because I want her to know this is not okay, you know. And so now when she does something that's wrong, she's like, Mommy, are you upset? Mommy, I apologize. Mm-hmm. So immediately that kind of shifts our interaction, because not only do I apologize, but she knows how to apologize as well.
Right. Okay, so something I have put in place, well, thank you, because she confirmed a lot for me, because first time mom, still learning, you know, it's never ending. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you do feel like you fail. You could be doing right, you still feel like, am I doing enough? So something that I put in place is when I'm frustrated, I'm saying I can do all things through Christ to strengthen me. Like, seriously, because sometimes we don't understand that their frustration is not even stemmed from their child, what their child is doing. So I had to put myself in a posture to get down to the root. Why am I even frustrated? And a lot of times we feel like we can take it out on the child because what can you say back to me? What can you do? So that's something I put in place with saying that and just, calming myself down and trying to grasp the fact that he don't truly understand. I know you mentioned something about Kason with the speech delay. My son is speech delayed because when he was young, he was always hospitalized. So he didn't like swallowing solid foods. He always had to have everything blended until after 3 years old. Nobody would help me. So I literally had to switch him over to solids by myself, like sitting him down every Saturday, making him eat something, and he couldn't get up until he ate it. So that's how he ended up eating solids. So since he wasn't eating solids, they said he wasn't using his muscles of his mouth to form words. So I have to remind myself that even though he's smart, he don't understand, like he can't really understand what I'm saying. And something else you mentioned, you said that kids like to have control of something. So something that I'm really structured. I have to set alarms through my day to make sure that I'm kind of on schedule. Sometimes I get off schedule, but for the most part, I am. So he has a time throughout the day where I just let him have his way, do whatever you want to do, because I want him to know that your personal time you need to value from this age all the way to up. It's a lot of things I put in place for my son at a young age. From 2 months to now, he's always went to bed at 8:30 because I didn't want to have to change things, but I put that time in place so he can know, okay, this is me time. That's something he'll be immune to, so he'll know how to, think about himself, throughout life.
That's so good. Yeah, listen, I didn't come with a list of questions. I said we're gonna wing it. We just gonna have but I got questions now. You said you give time to him for him to just have his way. Because truly as parents, it's like we're the parent. And we are always, I know for me, it's like I'm the parent. This is my responsibility. So it's like, I don't know about anybody else, but for me. Sometimes I just feel like, look, this is what I'm telling you to do. You have to do what I'm telling you to do. But I don't always remember my children they have emotions. They have feelings, and they are little humans with personalities, and they want to express themselves just like you want to express yourself. So does this stem from how we were brought up? Because, it's different. I feel like it's different now. Like when we were children coming up and our parents were raising us, they can give us a look or, it just seems like things are just so much different now. So my question, let me get to my question, y'all, so I can make sure I'm asking it right. How you're raising your children versus how you were raised. What's one thing that you can say is different that you're doing for your children compared to what was done for you? One thing you could say is different.
Well, okay. Well, with my 19-year-old, I would say, and this does not mean that I had a terrible mother. However, our parents are only able to give what they were given. Just like we're only able to give what we were given. But, if you want to do better, when you know better, you do better. So my mother was not a big talker. She's still not a big talker. We weren't able to go express ourselves to her and there be no consequences or a response that we felt was suitable for the situation, right? So with my 19-year-old, I had a conversation with her and I told her, I said, look, I don't ever want you to feel like you can't come to me and tell me anything. If I'm wrong, if I did something that hurt your feelings, if you feel like I was out of order with you about something, then respectfully, you come to me and you tell me, because I don't want you to feel like your voice is invalid, because at this point you're getting older, which means conversations matter more the older you become. So I made that a open space for her to say, okay, well, mama, I don't really like when you said this, and I just, that just made me feel some type of way. It was too aggressive because I can be very authoritative. That's just how I am. And even though that's how I am, I don't want it to always just be received because that's just who I am. Because it's not always right, it's not always fair. So if you feel like I'm not being fair to you, I want to create a space where we can have a conversation, because that's why people grow up bitter. That's why people grow up and they feel like their voices were taken away, because they were. Nobody created a space for you to say whatever you feel. However you need to say it to me so we can come to some kind of conclusion, some kind of resolution so we can be better. So just for me, I want to keep that going. Now, my son is 7. He's special needs. That's a whole nother story I'm sure we'll get to. But I want to just keep that going with my children, that I'm a safe place. I'm not going to turn up, shut down, whatever, shut their feelings out, because I want them to feel like they can be heard.
That's good.
Well, with me coming up, my grandmother raised me, and so, yes, she was strict. My mom was not really a big disciplinary person. She taught me a lot, but I believe through the foundation of what my grandmother said, it stuck. And so a lot of the principles that she taught me, I tend to do with my children, because it created structure. As it pertains to, each and every day, when you wake up as a mom, well, myself personally, I have to go before the Lord, because there are challenges each and every day. Before I wake up, I have to pray. It's not easy. My children, they're homeschooled, so they're there primarily, the majority of the time. So that can be very stressful. So when I wake up, I pray over the house, over the children, and that just sets the tone. So with that, everything is laid. So I just, through the foundation of the teaching of my grandmother, how she whipped, and I do the same. Yes, she had things in order. I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. And I do the same. But what's different is I allow them to have a voice to express themselves, but I explain the difference in talking back. I let them know when I was coming up, I was popped in the mouth talking back. They were, I want to explain. Right now, it's like the children want to explain themselves. Oh, well, but Mama, no, that's talking back. If I say hush, that means hush, But I just feel like a lot of stuff from the old school, we do have to kind of bring it back, some of that stuff, because we're living in the day and time where the world is out of hand. It's stuff, the internet, things they see in school, TikTok, all this different stuff that they're exposed to. We were not exposed to this stuff. And I believe through the old time way, that's how we're going to get these children on the right path. And that's through structure, that's through teaching, nurturing at the same time. But they need to know, when, you have to you have to, create an environment where you are mommy, you love them. They can talk to you about anything. But at the same time, you best to know it's going to be some structure in the house. I love you all day long, but guess what? You're going to be in order and you're going to be in line, period. We're going to have fun, but guess what? We're going to do what's right.
So for me, my son has never had a whooping. If he's gonna get one, maybe one of these days. But he knows the difference when mama is serious and when mama is playing. I can give him that look. We were brought up, my mom didn't believe in saying stuff more than one time. So I really don't believe in it. When I say it, that's it. So he understands if I say, hey, sit down, and he don't think I'm looking serious. I say, sit down. He knows to sit down. So he know the difference. He know when I can, have fun or whatever the case may be. And he know when mommy is serious. But I do want to create that safe space for my child. That's my main goal. I want him to be able to, come to me with anything, just like Lady Barbie said, to be able to come to me with anything. So, yeah.
So I guess for me, mine would be being intentional with making sure that she knows both sides of her family equally. So not just my side, her maternal side, but her paternal side as well. Because I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, different reasons, their children may only know one side of their family. So I am very intentional with FaceTiming her paternal grandparents and taking her over there and them coming to pick her up, because I want her to know that this is my family, not just this is my mom's mom, but no, this is my family, so that she knows that she has a community. Because should anything happen, God forbid, she has someone that she is familiar with. I think it's important as parents, and especially as mothers, that we're comfortable with who our children are with. Not just go take them to their aunt's house because it's their aunt. Because some family members you have to check. Some family members you have to know who they are. What are they into? Who are they around? I don't just leave my daughter with anyone. I don't care if they're family or not. So once I feel that it's okay, because when we talk about a safe place, we want them to not just be safe with us, but to be safe wherever they are. So it's important for her to see me establishing relationships so that she can know that it's okay to establish relationships in her own way. So for me, again, I would say balance. Knowing both sides of her family.
Anybody else want to go on this?
I would say the same thing as Bree. For me, I didn't grow up with my father. To this day, we don't have any real communication, so I always make sure that my kids are familiar with my husband's side of the family. And there are some things that as we get older, we deal with, and we be like, I don't know where this came from. I don't know why I have this in my mind, or So, for an example, I don't drink, never have, not in high school, not during my pretend college years. That's a whole nother. I sang with a gospel choir and was not enrolled in anybody's. Stayed on campus and ate off their dollar books. I had a good time, unenrolled. But, I was experiencing all of these things. And so for me, I never smoked, never drank. I just felt like it wasn't something that I should do. On my father's side, there are a plethora of addicts. I never knew that until I talked to my sister like a couple years ago. So that could have potentially opened up a door, but something in me was like, you can't be like everybody else. Don't you open that door. So knowing that was a door, it's important to know where you come from and what doors, what ways your family has walked, or everybody's making the same choice. You need to know, well, everybody, they overeat. Yeah. Okay, so I got till 35 to play around. Right. After 35, them genes, them genetics, gonna take a turn. So, it's real. But, so I always make sure, and I think that an issue with this generation is rebellion, because our generation grew up with do as I say, not as I do. So you got a whole bunch of people who like, well, that didn't work. That shaped me this way. That made me feel this way. I don't want my kids to feel that way. So you don't really you have rules, but those rules have put you in such a box. You just like, well, I don't want none. So now you just got a bunch of free kids who don't understand respect, because it's a bunch of broken people trying to raise up new people. So we just raising broken ones because that's how we were brought up. So I think that, you have to blend the old and understand, because structure is important, but you have to also implement emotional intelligence. You just can't beat them. That just can't be your go-to, because sometimes the behavior is because of something. It ain't, I just woke up and felt like, just doing something. Sometimes there's something going on in your child, and you need to get to that instead of I had told you, kapow. Now they, and they still broken, holding their head broken. So, I feel like we have to, bring that together.
I want to say this because I will definitely forget. The old and the new, blending it. So the old gave us structure, and the new is giving us that emotional intelligence. And what I have found is that that structure, I don't know why I see it so often, that structure has driven people into the rebellion. So, for instance, and I love my brother, it is what it is, this is life, he'll tell you. My grandmother, she raised us, okay? I was adopted. My father's mother adopted basically all of her grandkids, and she raised us. And it's different being raised by mama, and it's different being raised by grandma. You know, grandmas, they had that, you know. And then mamas, you know what I'm saying? You know. Y'all know what I mean. I can't, yeah, bet. So she raised us, and every Sunday we went to church. Every Sunday we went to church. It birthed for me. I am a first generation preacher, pastor. My children are being raised in church. I married a pastor. For my brother, I'm never going to, I don't care about going to church. I went to church and this is what he said, she drugged me to church every Sunday. And and it's like, bro, she did that for a reason. But it's like that structure developed something different in him. And I guess that came with the not giving you the control, not allowing you to have some sense of control. So it just looked different for one child. It looked different compared to another. But then when you really look at it, it's like, bro, you need Jesus. Like, you out here living life on a limb. Okay. You need to be in the church growing, learning. She did this so that we could grow and learn. But it's like the structure from the old time has pushed this agenda of rebellion. And some people, it's not like that for everybody. But it's like, so I can remember one thing for me that's different. I dealt with, and I still do sometimes, mommy guilt.
Yes.
Oh, God. Mom guilt. So when me and my husband first started having children, bro, we was broke, had no money. Baby, them children were taken care of by the great. I don't know how. I cannot tell y'all. We didn't have to buy much. They were taken care of. The Lord did that. Hallelujah. But we didn't have a lot of money. So I specifically remember one Christmas we couldn't buy gifts. And I felt so guilty. I was like, man, I cannot. I remember when I was younger, mama had this under the tree and that, and I just felt so much mommy guilt. So when we did get a little money, I would like run out. Like, I felt like I had to get. She gotta have 5 gifts. Everybody gotta have 5 gifts. It has to be a lot. It can't be one big gift. Yeah. Like, if I buy you a motorcycle, you got to have 6 more gifts to go with that, because that's not enough. So that mommy guilt, because of what I saw. So what I see, just being a leader in a church, I see some people don't have it, but your baby got on Jordans. Your baby dressed in Nike, from Nike bow, Nike jacket, shirt, pants, socks, shoe. I'm out here buying Target clothes. You Nike down. But I'm not talking, this ain't, nobody in our church, but I'm saying, for example, but then you come and say you can't pay your light bill. But because of whatever it is you saw, it's like, oh, I'm going to give my child what I did not have, but not all the time is that good. What I've learned is you have to learn what it is your children need. Of course, we want to splurge on our kids sometimes. Of course, we want to spoil them. If you want to, I'm not saying buying your children Nike Jordan is bad, but what I am saying is I'm not paying $70 on a pair of shoes that you're not going to be able to fit tomorrow. And I got a water bill that I could have paid up, okay? So I found that people take what I didn't have and they turn it into something kind of toxic, for a lack of better words. Like, it's just not smart. So it's like sometimes the structure that we see, it produces the rebellion or the lack of what we didn't have. It produces something different that's not always beneficial.
I want to touch base on something you mentioned with the, I think everybody kind of touched base on the older generation and the newer generation. And something I see with, I'm going to kind of go through the education system too. So y'all remember how we had to do those standardized tests? And it was just like, okay, everybody going to take the TCAP. And we all had to study the same way. And so you had some people who did well on the classwork but failed the test. And that's because they weren't equipped with adequate study habits for how they take tests. And so when I think about the older generation with structure, it was more so a one-size-fits-all. Like, this is how we raise our children. This is how it should look. And then we go to this newer generation who's just like, well, that didn't work. But we're going to try to be emotionally intelligent, but there's no substance or foundation with how that looks. And so when you don't know how it looks and you're trying to just go willy-nilly with everything, it looks very chaotic, it looks very disruptive and things like that. And the old structure looks very past time, it doesn't work. But structure helps things thrive, right? Structure keeps things tight, it keeps things in order. But then when you don't have that emotional intelligence, you have people who develop structure but don't know how to give themselves emotionally. And that's what we see as well. And so I think for me, I'm trying to learn how to create structure, but realize how both of my children respond to the structure that I create. Because I'm very organized, but organizing the way I organize with a 4-year-old and 2-year-old is gonna look different. They're not gonna adhere to, the structure like I do. So I have to be like, okay, how can I structure a 4-year-old and 2-year-old so they can grow and develop, but also give them the liberties to say, Mommy, can I do this at this time? Or Mommy, can I go play at this time? Like, it's a balancing act, not a balancing act. The Lord took me out of balance and he told me priority. We'll get to that in a second. But it's learning how to prioritize their needs at that moment, but also what do I need at that moment as well as Mommy. So, yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
Well, I was going to say something about what you said earlier, why the mothers can't, or the parents, rather, can't afford a thing, but they just go buy it, and then the priorities are lacking because you bought what you thought in your mind was a necessity. And my husband taught a series maybe 6 years ago called The Power of Poverty. And in that series, he taught us that a lot of the times people go all out trying to buy these things because they were so impoverished when they were younger. And I know just for my mom, we weren't broke, busted, and disgusted, but we definitely couldn't afford some of the stuff that she would buy us. And in her mind, this is how I'm proving my love to you. I want to make sure that I'm buying you Nike like your friends. I want to make sure that you're not feeling left out. I want to make sure. But like you said, we take the old school and mix it with the new school, or some things create rebellion. And for me, I refuse to buy my kids a whole bunch of name brand stuff because they mess it up. They ruin it. It's money down the drain. They are going to grow out of it in 3 months. And now, if you don't have a child to pass it down to or a person to pass it down to, it's just going to waste. Now, I love for my children to look nice. I will buy my children something that's name brand. I'm not totally against it, but I'm not going broke trying to keep up with the Joneses and buy stuff that my kids don't even know the name of. Most of that time, we buying that stuff for us. Yeah. My daughter, and I'm not going to be long, my daughter, I was with Erica. I went in Rec Room Shoes, and I saw some I don't know, they may have been $6 Skechers that light up. And y'all would have thought I bought her some Louboutins because she was jumping and screaming about those shoes that I found on sale. And people laugh at kids that wear light up shoes, but I'm like, I'm gonna buy, look. No, because I saw a post on social media that was like, I don't care how hard times get, I ain't buying my baby no light up shoes. I'm like, who? Because if it's a $6 Sketcher, I'm going to get it. And she was happy. She don't know if they cost $25. She don't know if they cost $200. She don't know that they cost $6. So I just don't think that it's wise to raise your children to love materialistic things when it could hurt them in the long run. Because they'll feel like, okay, if I'm not buying all of this stuff, am I really succeeding in life? It's so misleading. And I'm not doing it. If I see a cute $5 shirt, that's even for me. I like nice stuff. I like labels or whatever. But if it's cheap and I like it, I'm buying it.
Yeah. Can I get the opposite of that? So I'm gonna be transparent. My mom bust me out one day, and she told me I need to get out of the poverty mindset. So one thing about it, growing up, we lived in shelters, we lived with other people, so I have a lot of trauma in my childhood. And so from that, it birthed in me this scarcity mindset of I have to make sure I have enough so that my children never have to experience this. Like even when I got my first job, I would literally have a cup of money like in a cabinet, and I'd just be like, let me just add that in there, because I couldn't imagine having to go back to living in a shelter or living with somebody else. It put me in too many compromising positions. And so I remember when my husband and I got married, he loves to gift. He will go out and purchase. So he's gonna treat himself. Meanwhile, me, I'm just like, if we got a bill coming up and we gonna pay that bill, but if it's something else that comes up that's a surprise bill and I just bought something that last week, I'll be like, see, I knew I shouldn't have bought that $6 shirt because that could have been $6 that went towards this surprise bill. And y'all, that would just drive him. My best friend right there, she'd be like, buy it, just buy it up. But it's a true struggle for me, and I'm a prophet, so at the same time, money is my area. So I like structure, and I like money, and I like things to be in order with money. And so that is just an area for me that I'm still growing in, because my kids gonna have it for sure. But when it comes to me spending on myself, I'd be like, $6, I could get something for $3. So
No, seriously. That gives me mommy guilt.
But yeah, so I'm the opposite of, I don't splurge. I withhold so much to the point that with my husband, my best friend, they just be like, girl, you deserve it. You went to school too much and do too much for you not to be wanting to spend your money. And I'd be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to get better.
Because who gonna spend it?
Don't go nowhere.
This is what my mother-in-law said. My mother-in-law said, when you die, you can't take it with you. So you might as well.
I'm going to take that advice.
No, but, okay, so, and I like how we kind of transitioning. So now we're talking mommy guilt, and we're talking, for me, I'm a save. When it's enough spend month. No, I am I'm going to save, because even though my husband, he pays all the bills, all of my money, whatever I make, whatever I get, it's my money. And he didn't even realize that. One day he was prophesying it over the church, and he was like, you gonna have you a man that's gonna take care of all your bills. And baby, one day and I had to stop him mid and was like, babe, you do realize that's what's happening. He looked like, and went in, shouted and went in. I'm like, yeah, we've reached that point, but I don't want to be a broke woman. Just because I'm getting all my bills paid, I want to have my little money,
That they know nothing about.
That they know nothing about. And he'll be asking like, how much money you have? How much do I need to say I have in order for you to give me, go add to it? No, but so I just believe I've had 4 children. I've had 4 C-sections. In the course of 8 years, I've had 4 children. That means I've been pregnant and carried 4 children to term. 3 of those children were 9 pounds up. 1 of the 3 was 10 pounds. So I just believe if it's a $6 shirt, I'm behind it. If it's a $60 shirt, most of it. So, and then there are times where I do deal with mommy guilt. So my question to you all, this question is, what's one thing that gives you mommy guilt? And then do you like to splurge on yourself? Do you have the mindset, I'm a mom, I work hard, I'm going to get what I like? Within reason, because or are you like Alana, like, if it's $6, I can find it at $3. Find it for $3.
So I'm going to chime in.
Go ahead.
All right, so it's a group on Facebook, right? It's called Black Girls Love Ross. So I'm in that group, right? So if I go out of town, it's going to tie into what you said. If I go out of town, I'm going to look for a Ross. And sometimes in Ross, you can find Nike stuff, or you can find name brand stuff, Gucci stuff, like stuff that you don't know is going to be Yeah, you in a good Ross. I went to Vegas in April. Where I go? Straight to Ross. So I'm a frugal shopper, but like when I need to, I will splurge and buy nice items. But I'm very cautious on it because I'm a saver. So if I can, I will. If I can, I will. I've always been a good saver. Like when I worked in a restaurant in college, they would do tip share. So I would take all the envelopes, and at the end of the week, I open it. I would never open it the night they gave it to me. So that's what started me with saving. Just don't look at how much you get. Just keep saving and keep saving it. So I think balance and treating yourself, I think it's fine. Now, my mom guilt comes in if I'm traveling and my baby is not with me. I'm like, oh, I miss her. Oh, I feel like I'm dropping her off. Oh, let me FaceTime her. Oh, what are you doing? Like, you just look like I could be at the stop sign and I'm like, oh, I think I left something. I didn't leave anything, y'all. I was just trying to go see what she was doing. She's not doing that. You just dropped her off. She's fine. But even if I'm in the city and I'm having a dinner date or something, I'm like, am I dropping her off with somebody? Like, am I abandoning her? You know, just stuff that moms think of. Like, no, you're not abandoning her. It's okay. You can go out to eat with your friends. And that's what my mom guilt is, like when she's with someone else.
If you have a second one, you won't. You won't have it. So you'll be delivered from there. Baby number 2.
Because, hold your thought, because I definitely don't struggle with mom guilt when it comes to, now I have people, certain people who I trust that my children can go with. And when they with them, oh, it's a package deal. Can I just get the baby? Nope, you got to get the 7, 6, and the 3-year-old. It's a package deal. We come as a clan. It's the Cunningham clan. Okay? So, yeah, when you have more than one, you be like, and then before you look up, it'll be 6 hours and you ain't even checked in. Go ahead, Marnisha.
Okay, so I want to jump over really, really quick because I didn't get to jump in on the last thing you all stated, you and Lady Barbie, because it was really good. I do agree, but I want to kind of expose the flip side to, parents giving the kids all this name brand and they can't afford it. I don't think we look at the state that parent may be in, because sometimes it's not really for the child. They're doing that for, giving the child everything, but they're still not parenting. So it's like, you're still not a parent. So, like, honestly, but maybe it's a spirit within them that they're battling with that makes them feel like, if I have myself looking like this and my child looking like this, I can be accepted. Whether it be rejection or, any type of spirit. I think it stems from that too a lot of times, where their mother or father, whoever the case may be, has always been on the outside, and they feel like since society, is accepting this is the norm. If I do this, I fit in, I look like everybody else. So my mom guilt would be me leaving my child, just like you. My son has never been away from me. So only a few times I went on 2 cruises. He was away from me then. And, if I'm going to church or working, he'll be with my mom or brother or something like that. But he's never been away from me. So if I have him away too long, I'm like, okay, am I a bad mother? Because why he gone like this? So that's mine too. Yeah.
I would say for me right now, because it's only 2 of them. Can't speak to the phone. Just got the 2. For me, homeschooling them and them always being with me, and then trying to get into other things and being around servicing other people's children, for me, that kind of makes me feel bad because I'm taking time away from mine to help other people's kids, and now it's getting to a point where I might have to put my baby in school to get into, everything that I'm trying to do. And so that makes me feel kind of bad, especially because, teaching, homeschooling, you can cater to your child. You kind of have, I don't want to say a sense of control, but if your child is excelling in a particular area, you can really hone in on that. If they're struggling in a particular area, then you can kind of cater to that, and there's no pressure from everybody else. There's no, okay, well, come on, we going to the next module. You got to you kind of can pace and allow your child to develop that way. And so just thinking that I might have to put my child in school and just relinquish all of that control, I am just low. Just low.
I can say that there's a time for everything. It's a time to save. It's a time to, whatever. But me as a mom, in this particular season in our lives, I'm pushing them. So whatever they need, it ain't got to be name brand. But long as their needs are met, I want to make sure that I push them to the full potential, whether it's education, whether it's whatever, investments, whatever. So mommy guilt, I can remember when they were a lot younger, I did not want to leave them for nothing in the world. I don't care if it was I was dropping them off at grandmother's house. Even now, I'm like, no, they have to be with me. Whether it's if I'm ministering, whatever, they have to be with me. I want them to walk alongside me, to understand and to learn and to get this training, to get all this. I'm not the type of mom where, and I don't have, I'm not saying anything about anybody, but I don't want to leave them behind. I don't care if I'm traveling. I want them there because I believe our children, we're raising up a generation. We're raising up a generation that God is going to use, and we have to impart that in them. So that's where I am right now. I barely shop. I'm serious. I've been having this for maybe 5 years, work stuff. So, but my main goal is to invest in them. That's where I am.
Good.
My mommy guilt, because we are so busy, we have a church, my husband has a singing career, I have a business. We have so much going on that my mommy guilt comes when I have not sat down to do anything with my children. So if it's a week or two that has passed and I'm like, oh my God, I'm beating myself up. I haven't even watched a movie with her. Like, I know I've seen Frozen 72 times, but she wants to watch it. Y'all, my baby watches Frozen at least 5 times a day. Seriously. She's like, but I want to. So I try to cut that off. Okay, well, let's color together. Let's do something. So when I don't make time for that quality time, I'm beating myself up. I'm like, we didn't color this week. We didn't go to the park. We didn't go outside. We didn't do anything. Like, I just been going. When I pick her up from school, we go to the grocery store. Then when I come home, I'm cooking. I'm telling her, sit down, do this, do that. So that's my mommy guilt. Quality time is my love language. So I try to love on my children in their way as much as I can. And when I don't, I'm just in the dumps about it. So, yeah. So I guess that too comes to prioritizing. I'm trying to have dinner done by 5. So when she gets home around 5:30, I can be kind of free, So this my mommy guilt.
So I'm gonna be a little ashamed when I say this because it's guilt. I have mom/wife guilt. So, with my husband is amazing. Like, I don't know what prayers I prayed, but the Lord knew. Okay, so he has been the primary person to take our children to their pediatric appointments because his schedule is more flexible, and I'm typically the one like on FaceTime, like, how are they doing? What's going on? And for me, I'm just like, man, like, but he enjoys the fact that he can do that. But for me, I'm just like, but I need to be there. But I've had so many career shifts that's where my focus had to be, and I had to like FaceTime them. And so I really had to kind of break free from the stereotype this is a mom's position to realize this is a parent's job to raise their child and to do these things for their child. And so it was more so relinquishing that negative mindset of, oh, you're the only one that has to sacrifice for your children, and realize that we both did what we need to do to get these kids. So we both have to do what needs to be done to maintain their health and their wealth. And the other thing is, I work at a psych hospital now. So when I get home from work, I'm not in the mood to cook. I'm not in the mood to prep anything. Like, I just need to decompress from dealing with psychosis and people that are manic and all these other things, people whose spirits I see that I want to cast out. So I have to deal with that. And I will come home and dinner is already cooked. Dinner is already prepared. And I'm just like, man, my husband is awesome. Man, I'm a wife. I should have been able to do this. I should have been able to come home and still prepare a meal. And then he'll be like, but I got home before you. Why would I wait for you to make a meal when I got home before you? And I just be like, so I'm so blessed to have them. At the same time, y'all, I just be like, maybe I can get off earlier today. Maybe I can just surprise him and do this. But that's just not where we are right now in this season. And I have to be okay with realizing that in this season, that's not where we are. So that's an area that is definitely a guilt for me.
That's so good. I went out of town, so I take, I know one for sure, at least one time a year. For me, it's more than one. I just don't know how many. But at least one time, I take a trip by myself. No husband, no children. Wherever I choose to go, I take that trip by myself. And prior to this year, it was like maybe 3 or 4 days. But this year, it was a whole week. Well, a business week, 5 days. I was able to go away. But this time when I left, y'all, I was stressed out. My dad had just passed. Laundry, and we finna talk about your most hated chore as a mom. Okay. Laundry, why? Okay, why we just can't buy new clothes? Throw the old ones away. Laundry was piled up, y'all. I was stressed out, like I can't get laundry done. I got to plan this funeral. I was stressed out. So my husband's like, yes, time to go away. I'm gone. So since I have come back, I have not did laundry. I did laundry for the first time in like almost maybe 3 weeks, a month this week because my husband was out on his personal trip. So since then, he hasn't been cooking now. Okay, that's too much, too soon. But he's been doing laundry, house clean, every week for the whole week. The children clothes are set out for every day. Still rubbing my feet every night, okay?
Come on, Apostle.
Just really killing the game. And I start to feel bad, like, bro, wait now, okay? I complain about this stuff, but ain't this stuff I supposed to do? But really, they're in this with us.
Right. Yes.
And what he told me was, you know, now that I'm doing laundry, I kind of enjoy it. He said, I enjoy it because I get to do it. I think my husband has undiagnosed OCD. He like, I get to do it how I want to do it, and I'll be like, go ahead. And he gives me a little anxiety sometimes because it's like you can't drop a crumb without him picking it up.
Oh, my God.
But he was saying, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy getting the kids' clothes out. I enjoy taking them. Even one time I was out of town doing something somewhere, and he had to take, I think it was our baby, like the little baby, to the doctor. So, of course, y'all know I'm freaking out. Like, mommy killed my baby going to the doctor. He ain't even one, and I'm not there.
Yeah.
But he was like, I actually enjoy, they're in this with us. For those of us who have husbands, even those who are not married, but you have people who are willing to help. You have a village so that you can be a career mom, so that you can be an entrepreneur. So while all my time was tied up doing laundry every day, all day, or cooking or whatever, then now I have time to work on my website for my business, or, you know, I have time to spend 3 hours in my prayer closet because I'm not doing laundry for 3 hours, you know. So me and Jesus get some more quality time. But they're in this with us so that we can be more than a mom, so that we can do all the other things. And a lot of times as moms, as women, as wives, we get tied up with what we feel like our roles are, because society says you're the one that's supposed to cook. Well, what if you're a woman who can't cook? What if your husband is supposed to cook? Right, or prefers to cook. And then you have people like, you the wife, you supposed to da-da-da-da. And it's like, one thing that we learned, I feel like a little bit late, but kind of just in time when it comes to the sense of building our own household, raising our children, is that what works for you works for you. So, and then I'm gonna go to the next thing in a minute. So, when we got married, y'all, the way we got married is a whole nother couch conversation, okay? But we got married, and had to leave my church because the wife leaves her church to go to her husband's church, right? Woo! And I was sitting there dried up, dried out, falling asleep, just dying on the inside spiritually. And it wasn't until God called us to pastor that my husband was like, we should have went to your church. But I was just too afraid of what it would look like, what people would say. I didn't even know then that that's the move we should have made. But I made that statement to say, what works for you is what works for you. What works for your husband or whatever, you may not be the cook. You may not be the one who does the laundry. You may not be, and I know as women, we take on a lot of these responsibilities. We have to take the kids to the doctor. We have to book the doctor's appointments. We have to book the vacation. We have to do this, but no, maybe your hands need to be doing something else in this season. One thing that we learned, marriage is not 50-50. It's not 50-50. Marriage in certain seasons may be 70-30. Marriage may be 90-10. You may be giving 90 and he may be giving 10 in this season. Next season, you may be giving 20 and he's giving, it's not 50-50. And so you have to like keep that in your mind and know whatever works for you is what works for you. Whatever you're supposed to be doing in this season or focusing on in this season is what you're supposed to be focusing on. And so kind of having that village and having help and just relinquishing the mindset of I'm the one that has to do it. I got to do it this way. It has to be done this way. Because with laundry, I hate laundry, but I wouldn't allow anybody else to do it. I had people wanting to help. But if you don't use Persil and baking soda and OxyClean with the laundry sanitizer in my towels, I'm gonna fall out. And do not use bleach on my whites. You use Dawn. I learned that on TikTok. And if you put fabric softener in anything, oh, it's over for you. Like, y'all, it was bad. But when my husband started doing it, it's like, girl, I don't know what this man doing. He could be using whatever. It's clean. So we have to learn, kind of relinquish it when we can, in the areas where we can, to free ourselves up as mothers, to be able to do whatever God is requiring of you in this season. And even doing that may look better for your children. It may look better in your parenting. Maybe you cannot work an 80-hour week because you have children. Maybe, you can because you have a husband who can help. Whatever it looks like for you, and if it works for you, that's what I think ultimately matters. That's what matters. Okay. I want to jump to something else. We just came out of, I think maybe for all of us, our first ever pandemic that we've ever seen in our lifetime. How was it parenting in a pandemic? Let me start. My children didn't learn anything. My children didn't learn a thing the whole pandemic. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, y'all, I had to talk to my therapist about this. Baby, I was seeing all the moms homeschooling and schedules and iPad time and this, and y'all, mommy guilt. I was like, my children ain't learning nothing. Lord, if we eating today, it's a good day. If they don't wake up eating Cheetos for breakfast, we have. Y'all, the biggest struggle for me during the pandemic was teaching my children because they were out of school. So it's like, y'all, I don't know what my kids are. I'm finna be real. Baby, it was iPad. Now, we spent a lot of outdoors time. Like, we were outdoors a lot. They got to burn a lot of energy. Outside, we were outside a lot, and where we could incorporate certain things, colors, just different things, we did. But y'all, when I tell y'all structure, schedule, oh, it wasn't none of that in the Cunningham household. It wasn't, we're waking up at 9, we're having breakfast 9:30, at 10, put your play clothes on, we going outside. It's what you eat for breakfast this morning. Oh, mommy, I had Cheetos. Great. Do you feel do you feel okay? Do you need some water to wash it down? You good? What you finna put on? Did you brush your teeth this morning? I'm telling y'all, that pandemic. And then this is the thing. I had just quit my job in February. I literally had just walked off. I was so stressed out. And one day I told my husband, I really want to quit. And he was like, babe, if this is what you feel like you need to do that will help you, I'm game. Y'all, I gave my boss the key to that office so fast. And when I got in my car, I said, I don't know what I just did. I came right up here to this church and got on the altar like, Lord, you're going to have to make a way. But literally in March, everything shut down. And my kids had all three of my children had to be home. So I had to be home with them because my husband still had to work. So I'm home every day with 3 toddlers. Jesus help us. So we wasn't learning anything. That was my biggest struggle, okay, teaching them. So now teacher appreciation, oh, I'm buying the teachers something. I got your gift too. I am buying them something because the grace to do it. And I know as moms, it's like we're supposed to be able to. I'm not a teacher. That's not my grace. I'm a mommy. I can mommy very well. But to teach them, to have to teach them colors, numbers, how to write, how to read, it's like, girl, when did I even learn all of this? I don't know. So for me, it was teaching them. That was my biggest struggle. So what was your biggest struggle of parenting during the pandemic?
Short and sweet. I was pregnant.
Oh, over with. Nothing was getting done. Over.
Social interaction. Oh, that was terrible for Kyla because everybody wore masks. So she literally she turned 2. She was turning 2. So she spent the whole year and some change seeing this. Wow. So her whole world was shaped. So when it was time to take the mask off, she was freaked out by people because she was like, what, your face? I never seen one of those. The only people that got those is people in my house and my grandparents. So it was terrible. Like she would look at people and just start, ah! People were monsters to her. So there's a whole generation of kids who literally did not see a nose or mouth, just eyes and ears for a year and some change. So for me, that was the hardest part, the social interaction, because she didn't know other people had faces. And then her being with other people, excuse me, I'm too good for that. Don't touch my clothes. She's very suchy-muchy. So then that part was terrible. Yeah. Terrible, because she hadn't been around people. She was only 1 at the beginning and 3 when it was all said and done. So she hadn't really been around other human littles. And that just, socially, she was terrible. Terrible.
I was pregnant during the pandemic, but then I had my baby and the pandemic was still going on. So after I had my baby in May, my family told me in a nice way that they felt like I was keeping them in bondage. Because after I had the baby, I'm like, they can't come over here. No, what? No. I didn't want anybody at the house. I didn't want anybody dropping anything off. I didn't want any gifts. I didn't want anything. And they were stressed pretty much socially dying. And I was like, yeah, this is our little cocoon because we have a new baby. So I think the hardest thing for me was trying to allow my family some type of social element. Not just random people, but with other family members. But I'm like, I don't want anybody here. I don't want to do anything. I don't want anybody around. If this baby catch COVID, I don't know who I'm going to have to hurt. I don't know who gonna give it to. Like, I just was all over the place emotionally. Of course, my hormones still out of whack. I got this new baby, and I can't go nowhere for real. Before the pregnancy or after. So I think that was the hardest part for me, trying to just make everybody in my house comfortable, because I was freaking out.
I would say because our 2-year-olds have the same birthday, so we was pregnant and birthed at the same time. The hardest part, I think, during that time was the pregnancy and not having my husband in the room initially. Because initially we were seeing an OBGYN and a hospital, but then we switched over to a midwife and a doula so that I could have a home birth. And so he was able to then come to those appointments. But then I remember after we did the home birth, I was like, so I know I don't have to have people here, but the fear of it's COVID, people are around, they have this, the idea of going out. I remember asking my best friend and stuff, I was like, so do I have people wear masks and the face shields when they come over, or do I do what? And so it was all these questions because my oldest child, she was 2 at the time, so, she kind of had an immune system. But then you have to worry about this new baby who didn't have an immune system yet, and what would that look like? So I think the anxiety of just the unknown with COVID was really nerve-wracking for us during that time.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think we were all hiding, but I ended up catching COVID when I was pregnant. So, yeah, so I was a nervous wreck on top of grieving while I was pregnant. So it was it was some trying times. I remember when I was pregnant, just standing over the stove over a pot of steam, just trying to breathe. That was hard, but I didn't have to really experience anything outside of COVID and the grief until after. And then when she was born, we were still masked up. I didn't want anybody around at the same time, because it was just a lot of uncertainties. Still side-eyeing coughs and colds and sneezes. So it was a weird time.
You can't cough too hard now. And I'm like, wait a minute, you got that big? What's going on?
Yeah. This is gonna be a little weird, but for me, COVID was an adjustment. I don't go anywhere. I'm always in the house. If I'm not at church or doing some work, I'm in the house. My son in the house. So it wasn't a big adjustment. I actually liked the lockdown because because it kind of eliminated a lot of stuff that was going on because people had to be in the house. So to me, that was kind of wise. You kind of break-ins and all that stuff kind of ceased. People went out in the streets walking, no traffic. Exactly. So that peace, that quiet, hey, I'm for it. But it wasn't a big adjustment from that standpoint. But me and my son did get COVID. Oh, honey, when my son got COVID, I was scared because his asthma is really, really, really bad. My mom said, you sure he got COVID? He was eating stuff he ain't never ate. He was running, playing. I mean, everything. Didn't mess up his breathing, nothing. When I had COVID, the only thing happened with me, I couldn't smell or taste. But it was God, so it wasn't a major adjustment.
Well, I can say I'm an introvert, so I enjoyed COVID and the shutdown. I was pregnant as well. By the grace of God, my husband was able to stay in the room with us. Although I am an introvert, my husband, on the other hand, is, oh my gosh, a people person. Oh my goodness. Come on, you can, yeah. So after I have the baby and we're in the hospital, he's handing my baby off to the nurses, and I'm like, hold on, what are you doing? But I had to bring it all back together, Lord, okay. But I really did. I enjoyed it. It gave me that time to just, y'all know me. But at the same time, we did have fellowship or whatever. I was kind of hesitant about that. Of course, it was my husband's idea, but I enjoyed it. It was just a season that happened, but it was all right.
Yeah. You was like, yep. Didn't like it. We weren't learning. When it was time to go back to school, put the mask on. Let's say a prayer. Put some oil on your head. You out the door. Okay. Okay, so let's have a little fun a little bit. If you could go on a week-long vacation, no husband, no children, no budget, where would you go? Somebody said Jamaica. No children. Let me see y'all comments. Let me see the comments. While the ladies are thinking, what y'all say? No children, no husband, no work, no budget. Where are you going?
That's the part.
France, Hawaii, Dubai, Jamaica, what? Bali. Ooh, the water. Ooh, the water. Yes, God.
I'm going straight to Africa.
Africa.
Yes.
Lions, elephants.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Safari.
Safari meat. Food.
Culture, clothes. I'm going to Africa.
Africa.
Anything tropical, island.
I'm with you. Anything tropical. I love the beach. What y'all say? Aruba.
I want to go to church in Africa.
You want to go to church
The
in Africa?
worship is so high in Africa. That's really where I want to go. I want to go to church in Africa. So they are outside sweating, flies. They don't care about nothing but Jesus. That's it. I really do. I want to experience that.
We have some people online: Jamaica, Africa, Hawaii, Belize, Kenya. I love it. Where y'all going?
I would go to South Africa.
South Africa.
Like what you was talking about, there's a gospel choir called Joy Celebration. I love them.
So y'all going to church? No husband, no kid, no.
First of all, I'm not going to Africa without my husband, but I ain't want to tell you.
They have full
Pick
on
another trip,
production.
friend. Where you going without your husband?
I like to vacation with my husband. I do. Or my friends, but I like to have company when I vacation. I don't know. That's just me. And I'm not super extroverted, but I enjoy trips with people. I like to experience things with people that I love. So I don't know.
Right. Where you
I
going?
know
Where y'all
I answer, but that's my truth.
but I understand.
That's my truth.
Where y'all going? No husband, no children. Y'all taking y'all husband to cheer too?
Listen, somebody got to compliment me in what I'm wearing in
Ooh.
this swimsuit and whatever. But if he don't have to come,
Pictures.
pictures,
say the
activities. So, I don't know, somewhere tropical, somewhere where I can just like look out. I love scenery. So even if it's not tropical, some mountainous with like if it's a fall season, I want to go somewhere where I can see like leaves changing colors, the mountains. Like I love scenery. So wherever the scenery is, I would be okay with going.
Yeah, I'm going to stay somewhere where the water is, but I want to go to Egypt and I want to go to the UK. I want to go to Aruba. Yeah, the list just goes on. So anywhere where it's pretty outside and a lot of food.
And a lot of food.
Yeah, me too. Where the water is.
Where the water is.
I'm in peace with it. By myself, I'm cool.
Anybody else going? Somewhere tropical for me, definitely. Yeah. Definitely, with some pretty water, white sand, pretty water. I'm laying out. My husband ain't going. My kids ain't going. Ain't none of the church going. I'm going by myself. I'm going to wear what I want to wear, and I'm going to take pictures, and I'm going to send it to my husband so he can say, ooh, babe, you so fine. And I'm going to put my phone back on Do Not Disturb. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Don't need no help. I'm going to eat whatever. Okay. So I have once a week, I have one day where I call it my self-care day. I do whatever I want to do. I don't mommy, I don't wife. I do whatever I want to do. Typically, it's probably shopping, getting a massage, getting my nails or something done like that. Here recently, after God convicted me, he kind of convicted me and was like, yeah, you think self-care is just all about getting to do what you want to do. But self-care, caring for yourself and growing and resting and all that, it comes from me. So some days I come up to the church or I'm in my prayer closet just about all day. But I have one day a week where my husband kind of honors that time. I don't have to do anything. Do anybody else do anything like that? Like take some time out of the week, a day, or whatever, where I'm not mommy. They can't call me today. They got to call their daddy. Yeah. Or you're not washing clothes, or you're not, you just have some time to yourself to rest.
So we do it on Saturdays because throughout the week our schedules are just wherever. So Saturdays we rotate. So like if it's my Saturday, I'm either sleeping in or I'm just not being bothered. He's going to cook the breakfast, get the kids ready, and do what he wants to do. And then the next Saturday we flip-flop. So just to kind of give each other that day where we know we can sleep in. We ain't got to prep for nothing. It's just our Saturdays to be with family after we've already had time with ourselves. So that's what we've implemented.
So I don't have a personal day where I go out. Nails, I do my own. Hair, I do my own. I'm just, look, I love me. I'm the GOAT, okay? But, yeah, I can do everything that I need done. So my self-care is when I put my son to bed, I get my shower, and I'm in my closet. So every day I have that time to pour back into myself, reevaluate myself, my day, how I interact with people, what I could have did better, said better, things like that. That's my self-care for me. So I do that every day, of course, Monday through Friday. Not always on Saturdays and Sundays, but for me, that's it for me.
I don't have a self-care day, but I have grown to a place when I know I've reached a point in this month or this day that I just need to shut down. I need a break. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. Nothing. I don't want to be bothered. Because we have so many responsibilities, and sometimes we're overwhelmed, but we don't know it because we just keep pushing. We just keep pushing through, okay, this is what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to be at the grocery store. I'm supposed to be going to buy the kids some new socks. I'm supposed to. You really, they'll live one extra day with a hole in the sock. Yeah. Like, I had to really, seriously, because I used to have mommy guilt with that. Like, if I saw, oh, she got a hole in her sock, what? How did that happen? I didn't see it. You didn't see it, and it's okay. So
they might not even have matching socks. It don't even matter. You got socks on, your feet warm. That's all that matters.
So I don't necessarily have. Don't take your shoe off. I don't necessarily have a self-care day, but when I need a break, my spirit knows it, my body knows it, my mind knows it, and I just say, I can tell my husband, okay, I need you to pick Cody up from school. I'm feeling overwhelmed today. I may not know what's wrong until later on tonight, and I'll let you know then. But for the most part, right now at 5 o'clock, I need you to be in front of the school. And so we just kind of give each other that. Like, I know when he leaves the house and he's at Walmart for 4 hours, he needed a little break. That's okay. He loves Walmart, and when he's missing, that's where I know that's he's at Walmart. So we just kind of know each other. I know when he needs to go riding. I know whether it needs to be with me or without me. And he gives me that same liberty, so, yeah.
My day is pretty scheduled. So my kids are usually in the bed 6:37. I do what I need to do between 7 and 8. From 8 to 10, I got me a cookie in the oven. I'm about to get me some ice cream, put it on top, give me a little caramel, and then I'm going to watch a TV show that my kids can't watch because they dictate what I can watch. So even though I don't really do the, what y'all be watching, Housewives and all that stuff, that ain't really my, I don't know what the people's be doing, but that's not my thing. So, I just, find me something that I enjoy, that the kids, I don't want to watch Miss Monica all the time. I don't want to watch Number Blocks. I don't want to watch Disney. So from 8 to 10, that's all me. And then I be in the bed. It's about my bedtime right now.
Was that a way of saying, wrap it on up now?
I'm just barely hanging on.
Hang on, just give me a little while. I'm going to get y'all at that point.
9:30.
Well, with me, self-care, it happens just randomly. And I have to agree with you where you know when you need it. And a lot of times with the children, I say, I need some me time. I need some me. They know to go in their separate places because if I pop off, it's going to be something serious. So I put the children to bed. A lot of times I may watch my show, Bridgerton. I'm done with it. And I'll just watch the reruns. But, and then, or I may want to go back and play Sims or something like that. Just do something to take my mind off the day. So that's me.
Love it. I love it. I want to be able to, I want to open up the floor for you all to ask questions. If you all have any questions, if you guys have any questions for any of the other moms, to ask questions, even if we have online questions. I just want to open up the floor for questions to kind of just shift us in a different direction. As moms, one thing about our journey is it's a continuous journey. We're always learning, we're always growing. We may have mastered our to-do list today, but we have not maxed out. So we're always learning, and we get to learn from one another, and that's the beauty of it. Because the way I do it, she don't do it that way. The way one of them may do it, you guys don't do it that way. So I want to open up the floor. If you all have any questions that y'all want to ask, if you guys have any questions, if you got a situation, you're like, okay, what do you think about this? I feel like whatever. If you guys would like to ask questions or whatever, you can definitely do so. We have a mic. Just let us see your hand. Trying to watch the...
Can I start off? I have a question for everybody up here.
Okay.
So, this is for the first child for everybody. Because I don't think many people talk about their transition. I struggled a lot with trying to be a person and a mom at the same time. It's like, how do I be an individual? You get what I'm saying? So my question is, how did you all handle that transition? Was it difficult after that first child? Did you struggle with being a person, like, your identity without that child? Did you struggle?
I absolutely did. Because I was married, I struggled as a wife. And I just struggled as a woman in general because I've carried this baby. My stomach has gotten huge. Legs fat, feet fat, nose fat. Okay? And now I've had her, and the clothes I used to fit before I had her, I can't quite get back into those. The energy I had before I got pregnant, I don't quite have that anymore. And then with your first child, for me, it's like I have to do everything. And my husband is like, girl, this is not just your baby. This is, this is my baby too. And it's like, oh, you're holding her wrong. You're pushing the car. You're doing it wrong. It's wrong. Everything's wrong if I'm not doing it. And even with that, like, I can specifically remember a time where my husband was like, you have no time for me anymore. Because all of my focus was on the baby. It was always on the baby. Everything was about the baby. Everything was about the baby. So I definitely struggled. I think I just had to get to a point where I had to remember, you are not just a mama. Mm-hmm. This child has a father. She has a grandmother. She has other people that love her, that can do for her. And while they can do for her, you remember who you were before you had her. Of course, the dynamic is going to be different because now you have a child. But what do you enjoy doing? And see, my self-care stuff started kind of early on because even with my first child, I got to a point to where I had to learn what do I like to do. It took a little while to kind of master it. It wasn't until really after Kingston. That's the third baby. And I struggled with postpartum depression so bad with 1, 2, and 3. 4, oh God, he graced me. I was prepared, Lord. I was ready. But God graced me. So I struggled really bad. And after Kingston, I saw that I was stress eating. I was gaining a lot of weight because I was stress eating. We were in a pandemic, so it's like I'm around these kids. And the biggest thing that I could have done that helped me was go to therapy. Yes. I found a therapist. I went to therapy, and my therapist told me, you need to find something you like to do outside of your husband, outside of your children, outside of your church, just something that's for you. Mm-hmm. Just for you. So I started listening to podcasts. I love crossword puzzles, coloring books. And that's when I really implemented that self-care day. It took somebody telling me, you need to remember that you are a person outside of these little people. And I thought about it after my first child. I did think about it, but I didn't know, how do I get there? And then 3 babies in and a therapist later, it took someone else telling me, remember that you're a person outside of your children. And don't just remember it, find what you like to do. So I think for me, it took some intentionality. I had to be I had to wake up in the morning and say, okay, kids going to school, husband doing his thing. What is one thing I can do for myself today that will bring me alive, that will make me smile, outside of laughing at them doing their little funny giggles? And what's one thing that will bring a spark to me? So it took me having to hear it from someone else, but also being intentional, going out, making time for friends. It was really after this baby where I hit a point in life to where I was like, okay, I need friends. Like, if you think you finna do this life without friends by yourself, wrong. Yeah. Because you need somebody that you can come and sit on the couch with and be like, girl, this baby finna make me pull my hair out. And y'all can hee and ha and eat, and you feel better. So it took me being intentional. And that's the main thing. I was intentional about what gives me joy outside of them.
So something for me was not trying to go back to the Alana before I had my child, because I had like evolved and progressed into this new person. And it was almost like I felt so motivated to find myself even more, because I was really stressed out. I remember I made like this video and I was just like, I thought I was going to lose myself as becoming a mom, but I just felt like this shift and this weight of you have to do more. You have to model what it's like to love yourself and what it's like to really walk in your calling with God. And, of course, it sounds good up here, but the action part of it was just like, okay, how do I do that? Like, what does that look like? And the intentionality of getting out there, figuring out what you like to do, how you like to do it, all of those things. I'm still working on it because, again, y'all, I said I struggle with spending. So finding those activities and things I like to do is still something that I'm still trying to figure out.
For me, I told you guys I have 3 children, but the first child that I actually birthed was my son, and he's special needs. So I had him early. He has cerebral palsy. So he spent 60 days in ICU. And of course, like any first-time mother, I was consumed with being at the hospital. I was consumed with making sure the nurses did everything right. Everything was up to my standards. I was just consumed with that. I was consumed with going every day. I was consumed with the nurses, the doctors, the reports, just everything. And I knew that I was losing myself. I'm like, okay, you wake up thinking, okay, what time I'm going to the hospital? Then you get to the hospital, you're like, okay, well, I can stay to this time because I know. So I was just all over the place. Emotionally, I was dealing with postpartum. Physically, I was tired from going to the hospital every day, trying to pump milk and take it, and every little thing would make me have a meltdown. They could leave a bag of milk out, and I'm like, oh, why did you leave the milk out? I worked hard for that. Like, seriously, y'all, like, full-fledged fits in the car. Why would they leave the milk out? I'm calling my husband. They're just messing up everything. So I'm just emotionally all over the place. So, of course, I'm studying my husband, but not really. Because I want to go to this hospital. I want to make you grown, you big, you can fend for yourself. I got to go check on this baby. But I lost myself, and my husband sat me down too, and he was like, okay, look, how can I support you in this? Because I'm just feeling left out. Like, I'm feeling like even after my son came home, it was like, he's sleeping in the room, he may stop breathing. I was literally probably a little crazy. But I didn't want him to sleep outside of our room. So it was just a lot of stuff. And so after I finally built up enough courage to say, I'm tired. I'm emotionally tired. I'm physically tired. I'm depressed. And I need everybody to get away from me. I just need a moment to gather myself. So I would leave the house and I would go riding around the neighborhood. I would go sit at the park. I would shop. Just small stuff. I wasn't buying big things, but just little small stuff that made me remember the stuff that I do like. Because at this point, I'm throwing on leggings and a T-shirt to go to the hospital every day and tennis shoes, and I'm not even a tennis shoe girl. So I'm like, what? You haven't bought a pair of heels in forever. So people laugh at me and my husband now because he buys a lot of my clothes, but the root of that is I was not doing anything for myself. I was consumed with the hospital. So he was making sure I still look cute. He was buying my clothes. And so then I said, okay, I like to go out of town. Like, I haven't been out of town in forever since I had this baby. So every year I go on a girls' trip. That's my time of the year for my birthday where my husband knows wherever I want to go for however long I want to go, that's where he's going to send me. Because I discovered that I like to travel after I came out of postpartum. I'm like, I went out of town during postpartum and I felt so free. I just felt like a burden was lifted. So I just made that a part of my yearly routine. But it was definitely a struggle with trying to just find myself. We started a new church 3 months after I had the baby. So I'm like, I can't deal with these people and go to the hospital and make sure they don't touch my baby when he comes out of the hospital. You know, like, it was just so much. And so I was just losing myself day by day. So like Erica said, I had to just find things that brought me joy, things that I forgot that I even liked, like coloring. I'm like, what? Who buys a coloring book as an adult? But I love to color. I'm not the best color. I can't color that good. My kids color way better than me, but it's something that I do enjoy. Yeah, it's therapeutic. It doesn't look good at all, but I like it. I could not.
For me, the Holy Spirit convicted me and told me not to make my kids an idol. Everything that I did was all about my kids, and the stuff that I'm good at is the stuff that I'm called to do. So if I could not bring my kids, I would not sing. And y'all seen me, I have them strapped on the wrist. I'm not gonna leave my kid. I don't know, we at church, but I don't know you. With me, up here. You, hey, don't you move, stay right here. So I mean, everything was just so consumed, you know, with my kids. And so I started neglecting the stuff that I was called to do and the stuff that I enjoyed, you know, doing. And so now, and that's why I have mommy guilt now, because I'm so accustomed to everything's all about my kids. I gotta, you know, bring them with me. If I can't bring them, they can't go. I don't, you know, my schedule throughout my day is catered to my kids. They sleep between 12 and 2, so whatever needs to be done, and I don't want to take them, it's done between 12 and 2. So now I'm trying to figure out and get back to the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. So even with the educational videos, I worked on a kids gospel album. I never put it out. I just recorded it and never put it out. So now I'm getting back to what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's not just something that I'm good at, but I'm called to do it. But I can't allow my kids to prevent me to, you know, from doing what God called me to do. So for me, that is something that I always keep in the forefront, because it's really, really easy to make your kids idols, because they just need so much. They just consume so much of your time. And if you're not careful, you'll try to be God to them and they'll be your idol. So you really have to, you know, be careful and watch how you handle being a mom.
Can I just ask you one question, Devin? How you get that 12 to 2 to be every day?
Been on the schedule since a couple of days after they came home.
Y'all, I start the schedule, but I can't finish it.
You gotta keep it.
I'm not consistent. That's a struggle for me. Like,
yes,
I'm like, she go to
also
bed at 9 o'clock every night, and then I do that for 2 months, and then the third month is
no, ma'am. But I thrive like that because I have attention deficit. So I thrive on a schedule. If I'm not on a schedule, everybody we all gonna be looking like we got attention deficit. Yes, the whole house gonna be chaotic. So I have to have a schedule, or else socks don't know. You hungry? Die. Like, you know where the snack cabinet is.
That's me, for real. It's my life. We have 2 questions. Let me read this one online, and then we're getting to the one in the audience. And then, it's so good. I know the saints got bedtimes. Okay. How do you implement spirituality in your toddler's life and not let the iPad teach them?
That's easy.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna jump in real quick. So balance. I guess just permitting them in allotted time. Like, okay, this is a good amount of time for you to watch whatever you want to watch that is, under your supervision or whatever. Everything don't have to be educational all the time. They can watch Miss Rachel, Miss Monica, or whatever. Yeah, they can watch a movie, but then they also can watch something that's educational. So it's just about balance. You don't want to overload them because it is a such thing as information overload. You don't want to just pound, numbers, colors, colors, colors. What's your first name? What's your last name? What's your birthday? Yeah, yeah. So you want to allow them the leisure time to be a child. So tablets is cool, but outdoors is cool too. So I would just say just having that balance.
For me, it's conversation. If you see my mom or my brother, you'd be like, you with them? You related to them? Because I'm more of a laid back, I call it a practical Christian. So y'all know I really ain't gonna catch me on the floor too much. I ain't gonna really, shout. I be shouting in my heart. So for, I might not, but in my heart, So for me, it's conversation. So, when Kyla asks, well, how did the stars get in the sky? Okay, well, in Genesis, did you know that God, and do you know how this works? And I use science to prove God as opposed to, separating the two. I don't make it a real big, we got to, Father God, she not going to do that. She going to watch y'all, but she come here, I'm going to tell on her. When she come here, she don't move from that seat by my mama. But when we get to the house, she mock all of y'all. And so for me, it's more so a model behavior versus you gotta talk. So when Kyla is afraid, I taught her, do not fear, God is here. So when she's somewhere and she's nervous, she doesn't run to me. She just says, do not fear, God is here. Do not fear, God is here. Because I, gave her that. That's her, this yours. You have authority over that. I can't, I can show up, but at some point you're going to have to, do that for yourself. And I don't feel like it's okay to wait until you're 16, 17, 19, and then be like, woo, we got to catch up. So, we learn a scripture every 2 weeks, and then we discuss that scripture for 2 weeks. So we learn Mark 12:30, love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. So what does that mean? How does that look? What does it mean? So for me, it's not, we got to crack down and I'm going to have you in the prayer closet 30 minutes with me. Let's talk about it, because how do you walk it out? Because it's a lot of us who have church behavior. We're very churched, but the kingdom walk, you be like, who, baby, you jaywalking. God gonna give you a lot of tickets.
A whole word, my Shantioba. That's really good. It's model behavior in front of them. It really is. Our Kingston, that Kingston. So he would run to me, mommy, I hurt my finger. Can you kiss it? And I'm like, no, I'm not kissing your finger. Where did you put that? Where was that finger? One day he hurt his toe and he was like, can you kiss my finger? I said, do you see how dirty your toes are? You think you kidding me? So now he saw us in church laying hands. He saw, I ask my husband sometimes, oh, please lay hands on me, pray for me. So now it's, mommy, can you please pray for my leg because it's hurting? Yeah. So it's a model behavior in front of them. It's so important that we live for God in front of our children. Yes. It's so important. We may think we can put on a show for the saints, but the true show is at home. Yes. And when your babies come and get in children's church cussing, somebody was cussing at the house, okay? So, and they gonna tell all your business. My mommy and daddy was, and it's like, Jesus, okay? So we have to live a model behavior. And to add to that, it's so important that as parents, we are in a church a local assembly, not just watching online, not just Easter, Mother's Day, Christmas, because they skip Father's Day, Christmas, and then do it. No, it's important that you are in a church where you can learn and grow as a parent, but that also can cater to your children. So Iana, we didn't teach her the Lord's Prayer. She learned that in children's church. It's a lot of things that we learned maybe in Sunday school that we didn't learn at home that we can remember now. But like it's important that you're in a church, even if they don't have children's church, but the children can sit in what they see. Yeah. The word that's preached, they remember that. Yes, they remember that. So model behavior it really is a big part of it.
And also not underestimating the knowledge of your child. Like what you said, they can be in service and literally grab hold of something. My daughter be like, you remember Apostle said, da-da-da? I'll be like, yes, I do remember that. Or you remember when Daddy said this? And so they literally thrive off of you challenging them to remember and to grab hold of stuff. Something my husband and I do, he does prayer, I do story time. So when it's time for prayer, we be like, okay, Ari, it's your time to pray tonight. Or okay, Asa, even though he's 2, his vocabulary is increased because we challenge him to meet that standard of, okay, it's your turn now. And so they enjoy that. Also stories and songs. If it's a scripture, we're going to sing it. Because children sometimes I learn by song. I learn by acronyms. So I try to figure out how they learn and incorporate scripture or praise and worship into ways that they learn. And they retain it really well like that.
I would say depending on age, it can vary. But you definitely want to build their character in the ways of Christ. We don't understand that we teach them without verbally teaching them. Mm-hmm. So what you do, what you say, that's teaching them. You're still a teacher because they're watching you. So I do have times where my son sits in my closet with me and he listens to me read the Bible. Mm-hmm. I also have times where I'm open with worship in my floor with the worship music playing, whatever the case it may be, and he will see that. Kids are like sponges. It's so true. Mm-hmm. And one time I had the radio playing, and my son just came and sat on my floor with, he's like, thank you, Jesus, mm-hmm. just lifting his hands. And I didn't have to tell him, do this or that, but they pay attention to that. And I also think that's so important because you can literally kill a thing before you give it the opportunity to prosper. And what I mean by that is, like we said, PL mentioned that some structure back in the day, sometimes it bring forth, birth rebellion. But on the flip side of that, with them watching mama in church or, siblings in church, if they see those people not living by what they're doing in front of the church people, you can make them not want church. You can make them not want God. So they will take it for a joke. If I see, mama acting this way around them and then we get home, she beating on me, she this. Kids, they pay attention. So you can build them up in the ways of Christ about how you treat them, your ways, the way you carry yourself and things like that. So that's one of the tactics I use.
Can I piggyback off of that? So something that the Lord had convicted me of one day. I was so frustrated before going to church because my husband has to go to church before me, and I'm trying to get myself looking decent, get 2 toddlers looking decent, and I was so frustrated one morning. And then I realized that if I'm always frustrated taking them to church, they're going to despise the process that it takes to get to church. And so I had to be like, okay, I can't be like, get together, do all this, and then get them in the car, and then we walk in the church. Hey, well, they ain't really me, y'all.
They're like, mama's so fake.
Right, but it's not even the fakeness. It's the fact that, man, like, you're so angry coming here. Why would I even want us to come here in the first place? And kids pick up on things, even at the ages of 4 and 2. Like, they pick up on repetition. So if every Sunday you're angry and you're frustrated trying to get them ready, they know every Sunday, okay, it's about to be a show because she got to get us ready. She finna be fussing. And as they grow into teenagers and they realize they got more autonomy now, they're going to be like, no, I don't really want to go. I don't really want to do this. And now you got rebellion, now you got frustration, but I ain't going to get into all that. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Question. You got one online? Okay, let's get this one right. Let's get Ari first.
Okay, my question, do I have to stand up?
No.
Okay. My question is for Lady Franklin, just from some of the stuff she was saying about her son and the season that, you were in when he was born. So my question to you, because I'm currently in that season. I've been in that season for a while now. And I am struggling with what is normal or what will be normal. My new normal has been hospital. I get home, I don't want to do anything, or I don't want to go out. The only thing I really go out to do is really to come to church, or even if I'm at the hospital, I'll try to, come to church when I can. But I'm in the season of, okay, I know what my normal was. I know that, my normal was, okay, shopping. I love to shop. I love to buy shoes. That's my thing. I love shoes. So in the course of that, once everything kind of transitioned and everything was happening, I wasn't able to do any of those things, shop or buy shoes, even buy shoes for my other kids. Everything changed, so nothing was normal. So my mind state right now is, okay, what is normal? Because I don't know. Being that hopefully normal will be soon, I still don't know, okay, how do I get back to normal? Because in the season that I've been in, I have not been able to do anything for myself. Me and my husband hadn't been able to do anything for the most part. So trying to get out of my mind of, okay, this is the normal, because the hospital is draining. Yes. Literally draining. And I don't think people don't seem to understand that unless they're in that situation. My husband doesn't understand. He was in it in the beginning, but somebody got to work because I can't work. So somebody got to pay the bills. So even once I get home and I'm like, I don't want to do anything, I kind of make myself do it. And in this process, I've lost myself.
So I don't think it's go back to what's normal. You create a new normal. Mm-hmm. So I don't know the severity of the condition of your child, but my son, he doesn't walk, he doesn't talk, he doesn't sit up or anything like that. So when they say it takes a village to raise a child, I would be lying to you if I just say, go pray about it and ask God to give you strength and No, I had to have a village. Like, if I didn't have my mother-in-law, and I always get emotional when I talk about the help that she's been to me with my son. But I know sometimes with special needs kids, we don't always trust people. Like, nobody's going to, special needs kids, I don't know if your son can talk, but my son can't. So I'm like, I'm not finna leave him with anybody, because I had to really, and I'm not saying this to be carnal, but I had to really go to God about that, because I was really feeling like if somebody hurt him, I'm going to jail. Like, if somebody do something to my son and he cannot talk or move, I'm going to jail. So I had to pray about that. I'm like, okay, God, soften my heart. Give me discernment so I can know who's going to care for him like I would, with a pure heart, with no ill will. Who's going to love on him and my mother-in-law stepped in. She's an older lady, but she stepped in and she cared enough about me, because I'm telling you, all over the place. She cared enough about me to say, I'm going to learn how to take care of your son with excellence the same way you would. And so when I need that break, now I never had a babysitter every weekend for my son, but my mother-in-law, she moved in for a year with us after I had him. And after she left, every Saturday, she gets him. So, of course, he's at home with me Monday through Friday, but I can look forward to Saturday to go buy my shoes, to go get my hair done, or hang out with my friends or whatever. Of course, I have a nurse, but I'm still at home with him, so I'm not finna just say, oh, nurse do everything, So I had to create a normal. I had to be vulnerable with the people that I knew loved me, and I had to tell them, look, I need y'all to help me. Like, having a way, because I didn't start off with a nurse. Now, let me be clear. My first 3 years, it was all me. Mm-hmm. So I'm all over the place doing everything for him, not stressing my husband out because you can't do it right. Don't do that. You can't take care of him right. Just making the man be a bad daddy, because we always feel like we have it better. But I had to also give him a chance to prove that, I know prove is a bad word, but I'm saying it. I had to give him a chance to prove to me that he could care for my son, you know. And we don't always like to be vulnerable with our weak spots, especially when it comes to parenting. But I did. I had to say, baby, you gonna have to do more than what you doing. You could be doing all you know how to do, but I'm telling you now, I'm ready to just relinquish that power. Like, I want you to help me. I don't know if we gotta hire somebody to whatever that looks like for you, but the first thing I would say is you need the help. If you don't have some extra pair of hands with a special needs child, they are like 4 children in one. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So I would say be vulnerable with the people that love you, the people that you know love your child, and tell them, look, they got people. If you don't mind me asking, what's your son's condition?
Well, it's my youngest daughter.
Your daughter, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. She's not special needs. I do have a son that has ADHD, but
Okay.
that's a different story. But that's controllable with medicine,
Yes.
thank God. But my daughter, she has cancer. So we've been it's been about a year and 5, what month is this? May. A year and 5 months that we've been in treatment. And so I've spent the last year and 5 months mostly at the hospital, then at home. So my mom is very active with my older two because they have to get to school. And I guess not to put all the burden on me of taking them to school, leaving the hospital, all that stuff. But she has cancer, so we're hopefully getting close to being done, and she can ring the bell. She'll be in remission, thank God. I don't know if I want to put her in school. And see, that's why I said I don't know what.
Let me say this one thing that really just felt heavy in my spirit. I felt like when my son was in the hospital every day, I tortured myself trying to go every day, be there all day, not leaving, making sure and if I could tell anybody, and I'm saying this from the purest place of my heart, don't feel bad when you have a day that you don't want to go. You cannot be at all places at all time, because when you at the hospital 7 days a week, then you come back and you frustrated. It's Monday, you got to start the week all over. You irritated, everything getting on your nerves. You're no good for nobody. So the day where you feel like today is the day that I'm not going, take yourself up on that offer, because it's overwhelming. So if I would have listened to my husband say, don't go, Kanisha, just not today. I'm peeling myself up out the bed because it ain't going to be right if I'm not there. But I wish I could rewind time and just give myself that break that I desperately needed. Take that day and go buy you some shoes. Just don't, because guess what? Put your baby in the Lord's hand and nothing's going to happen to her ever. Right. Nothing's going to happen to her. Right. She's going to be just fine until you return.
So let me say this real quick before we get to the next question. I hollered, well, I ain't hollered, but I said it was the word of the Lord because I literally heard the Spirit say, don't feel bad just because she's in this position and you still have to go on with life. Don't feel bad just because she don't get to go to the playground every day like the other kids. She don't get to go shopping with mommy. She has to be here. Some days her body's in pain. Some days she's afraid. Some days I'm afraid. Don't feel bad. This is what I heard the Lord say. Do not feel bad because your life has to continue. Because while she's at the hospital, you still have to go get your hair done. You still got to wear shoes, and they can't have holes in them. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, But release that fear to the Lord. That fear of, I can't have a new normal. It's impossible for me to be this lavish for lack of better words, but lavish mom who's doing what I get to do when she don't get to do what she would normally do as a child. Relinquish that fear. Like Lady Barbie said, Lord, the angels are with her. When I walk out of this hospital, The angels that war with her, the angels that stand guard, they're here with her. And I decree and declare that nothing will happen, not while I'm gone, even when I return. She is in your hands. What we have to know as parents is these are children that's loaned to us. They're loaned to us. God gives you whoever your child is because he knows Lady Barbie can raise a special needs child. Lady Manette can raise this baby. Devin can raise this baby. Elder Alana can raise it. He knows what's in you, and he gives you a child for you to take care of, love, and nurture, and do all of that while we're all here on this earth. They're loaned to us. But at the end of the day, they belong to him. And we have to give our children to God because we're not omnipotent. We're not omnipresent, but he is. We don't know all things, but he does. So he knows if something is not right when we're not in their presence. And he can do far greater things for them than we can. So we have to give our children. And one of the things I struggled with was control. Controlling. They can't ride with you. I got to drive. My husband can't drive, y'all. So if y'all see PL driving everywhere, it's because he can't drive. He don't like to drive either, but still he can't drive. So a large part of when I was having children, I had to be the one to drive them. I got to be here. I have to know that. I have to, because I struggle with this. I got to be in control. And God had to convict me like, girl, I run this show. I am in control. Whatever I can do for them is far greater than what you can do for them. So we have to release our children to the hands of the Lord. And I think a lot of that will, we're still going to have pressure as mom, as parents. But some of our pressure will be lifted when we totally say, hey, Lord, look, these your babies. I'm borrowing them, and I'm so grateful. But take care of my baby. Keep them when I'm not in their presence. When I'm gone on a cruise, keep them. I know they're good. And if you ever feel like something is off, pay attention. Yes. But, girl, go buy your shoes. Because your life has to go on. Okay. Do we have another question? I'm finna wrap it up, y'all, because we can go on and on. I know the Saints got to go to bed. It's another question online? Or?
Yeah, okay. So this is a question for everybody, if y'all can answer. It says, for the first baby, how did you all handle the demands of a newborn infant at home and making that adjustment?
Schedule.
Skills, baby. I didn't know what to say.
I thought we ain't talking about
A schedule. Cause you have to. You still gotta eat. You still need to take a shower. All right. You still got to take a shower. You still have stuff that you need to do in your home or in your regular life. And then you have to incorporate a new human little into that. And the world don't stop just because you got a new person. It just don't. I wish it did. Wish you could put it on pause, but it doesn't. So if you can get your child on a schedule, then I think the transition is a little bit easier. So like I said, my kids sleep from 12 to 2. So that is my time to grocery shop or do whatever needs to be done in the house. And if I need to wash the dishes, 12 to 2, that's my time. And then I have, individual time for the kids. And so kids need belly time. Put that baby on their belly. Fold up the clothes. So, just a schedule and finding ways to incorporate your daily life, it makes life a little bit easier.
I want to add delegation. What can you pass off? If you can online grocery shop, baby, they bring it to your front door now, baby. Yeah, so delegation, finding out, or delegation, prioritize, however you want to put it, like, what can I let my mom do? What can I let my aunt do? If you're married, what can I allow my husband to do? Because having a new baby, that adjustment, and I was here like, child, I don't know what to say because I don't know what I did. We just was winging it, and hey, okay. But structured delegation, for me, I would say delegation. Now I'm learning, like, girl, delegate. Yeah. Ask somebody my husband was out of town. I was like, can you please cook me and the kids some dinner? Because I knew I had to do prayer. We had Bible study coming up. We had this. So being able to delegate kind of helps with the adjustments and the transition.
I can say as much as I tried to prepare for the new baby, as much as I planned, cleaned, had everything organized, it didn't go as planned at all. So with us, we just went with the flow. And however it went, and it was good for us.
I would say I'm going to come from the emotional standpoint. I had to really give myself a lot of grace because emotionally, I didn't realize how big of a change your body goes through from postpartum. Like, people think, I remember, like, because I was breastfeeding as well, and I was just sweating. I'm like, why am I sweating? Like, I'm so hungry. I'm like, it was just I was so thirsty. I really could wear a hat with a straw and just, like, walk around with it because I was so thirsty. And all those things, I was just like, okay, emotionally, physically, mentally, like, all these things are changing, and I've never been in this position before. So giving myself grace, one, because I'm just meeting this baby just meeting me, my husband just meeting this baby. So it's just like, everybody's new here. Like, hey, like, how are you? I'm a new mom, you're a new dad, nice to meet you. My husband is now a dad, how are you? And so it's like all these changes were happening, and we had to adapt. And the lactation consultant, when she came into the hospital room after I had my daughter, she was just like, hey, this is new for you. She's learning how to eat, you're learning how to feed. And from that moment on, I just kind of was like, all this stuff is about to be new for me. Everything is about to be new for me. And so that I just kind of took that little advice she gave and was just like, I'm finna learn how to do all this stuff new, and she's literally learning how to exist. So we got to give ourselves grace when it comes to that.
Yeah, I like what you said, giving yourself grace and then setting realistic goals. You're not going to get everything done. The trash might sit there, until the next morning. Them clothes, they can sit there until the next batch of clothes come out the washer. You can fold them all together. They going to be there. So just being, like, real with yourself, real with the situation. So it does take a lot of grace for yourself and for the baby and for your household, and especially if you have other people living with you. A whole lot of grace, a whole lot of understanding for everybody in the situation. And like I said, just setting realistic goals, because your body can be exhausted from pumping. It's a liquid. Yeah. And so they say sleep when the baby sleep, but how? Because she just woke back up. So it's just not realistic to sleep when the baby's sleeping. You telling me to sleep, but then you telling me, wash the dishes or cook when the baby sleep. But you just told me to go to sleep. So which one you want me to do? So yeah, just setting realistic goals.
Let me say this right before you end. Man, TikTok done messed us up. If you're having babies now, TikTok done threw us off, because these mamas, they done came home, they up at 5. I do the first feeding at 5, and then I put them back down, and then I get up and I clean the whole house from the top to the bottom. I redo the roof before 12 noon, and then it's like, you lying. You did that for a video that you knew was going to get a whole lot of likes, because you ain't doing this every day. Because you lying, son. Why you lying? So then, I don't know about anybody else, but like, TikTok messed me up for a little while, because I was like trying to be a 5 a.m. mama. I'm not a 5 a.m. mama. I can't get up at 5. I can get up at 6:15. It's something about that extra hour 15 that just worked for me. So TikTok messed us up, and it causes us to strip our own grace away, because we feel like if they can do it, surely I can do it. Baby, no. Go ahead.
So, I'll say 3 things. The schedule, of course, for me, and be consistent. Like, I had to do everything at the same time every day. So my son's body got immune to it. Like still to this day, if I have him up too long past that 8:30, sometimes y'all see him over there, and he take a nap every day at 12. So sometimes in church he even fall asleep because his body's just used to shutting down at certain times. But something else I would have done more, I should have done more because I went through so much after having my child, I didn't even recognize I was dealing with postpartum. So I would say check on yourself. Yes. Have those moments where you say to yourself, are you okay? And be honest. And I think that'll help a lot, just checking on yourself. She said something about the grace part. You definitely want to, show yourself that grace, have that grace, that period, because you're really not going to get everything right. Sometimes you may say, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. You don't do X, Y, and Z. You may fail at certain things, especially if it's your first child. You may fail. Like, you may fail. You may fail at it. It won't come out just right. So, yeah, definitely have that grace. Show yourself that grace, too.
Man. Oh, we're finna blend chicken and carrots and, man, pick that baby some food up on the way home. Stop at Walmart. Because, my Lord. Okay, do we have another question? No other questions. Any more questions in the audience? Ladies, y'all got any more questions? Yes, come on.
How are y'all doing potty training boys?
Ooh.
I did.
Because if you know mine.
I got my son a little, I don't remember where I got it from, but the little cute pot, they have it's a little thing. Yes, it's a little thing. It just spin around. You can, like at Chuck E. Cheese when they shoot the gun. So it's a little toilet. It just spin when they aiming. Because I can't show them. But yes, that's how I did it. But as he got older, okay. So look, y'all. I tried to get him to sit down for the longest. He just would not. I'm like, do my son not understand you're supposed to use this? This is what it's for. But he didn't like the big hole in the toilet. So he wanted to stand up. He was standing up at 2. My heart was just hurt because I'm like, why are you standing up using the restroom? Like, you're not grown. You barely got something. Why are you doing this? So, yes, I got that. And he liked it, So try that.
Yeah, I struggle.
They think they playing a little game when you get the little.
Struggle real bad. So Kason, because of autism, just developmentally, he was just behind. And so it took him the longest to potty train. Finally, we got part 1 down. It was the part 2. But for us in our household, we were potty training him and Kingston at the same time. Fun times. So Kason, it is one day, my husband, man, y'all, I'm telling you, I could tell you some stories about this. Potty training boys. But one day my husband said, I'm so sick of buying pull-ups. I ain't buying no more pull-ups. I said, well, what are we going to do? They not getting this, sir. I don't know. No, we got to have a pull-up on for bedtime or something. Because they do good in the day, then at night it's just a mess. And then I'm like, No, and then Kason didn't want to sit on the potty and do number 2. So he'll do it in the pull-up and change his pull-up. You can't not buy pull-ups. We know. But my husband said, I'm not buying any more pull-ups. And when he said that, a calm came over me. And all I heard was, they gonna get it when they get it. We expect for our children to, do it in our time. Time tells us by 2, you should be, by 3, you should be. They gonna get it when they gonna get it. Baby, I don't know what happened. I woke up one day, everybody was pee-peeing where they was supposed to pee-pee, boo-booing where they was supposed to boo-boo. No more pull-ups was in the house. Underwear, nice and clean. So, they'll get it when they get it. Don't just wing it. Try the little froggy thing, see what works. We tried the potty watch and all of that. But I'm telling you, we stopped buying pull-ups. I don't know if that worked for anybody else. We stopped. I think it was the comfort of the pull-up. We stopped. Now, we had a few days where we had to clean up some mess, throw the whole underwear away. We not wiping, cleaning, throw all of it in the garbage. But one day they just got it.
And also a cutoff time before like bed where they're drinking things and stuff like that. That helps.
Do we have any more questions, you guys? Did y'all enjoy this? Y'all enjoyed it. Don't tell me no. Don't just clap now. Okay, if we don't have any more questions, ladies, do y'all have anything else? One thing, one very quick word of encouragement that each of you can give to a mom or just a woman who's in the career field, a woman who's an entrepreneur, a new mother, a mom who's gone through the infant to the toddler transition, from toddler to big kid, to a single mom. A word of encouragement from each one.
I would say something the Lord had really shared with me was sometimes it's not about balancing, it's about prioritizing. And he kind of showed me like these cups that were empty, and I was trying to pour an even amount of myself into these cups. And I kept having like go back and do this and go back and do that. And it was so exhausting and tiring. And this is me envisioning myself doing this. And he was like, sometimes you have to prioritize what's necessary and allow the other things to kind of fall where they fall. And that has helped me so much in my business, as a mom, as a wife. Just you prioritize what your household needs are and then let the other stuff fall where they fall.
My advice would be, of course, prayer, because that's the only thing that I know, like lean into prayer. And when you cannot pray yourself, the people that you trust, the people whose prayer lives are putting themselves on their altar at home, trust their prayer lives with when you need to be undergirded, when you are exhausted, when you're depleted, when you're frustrated. Lean into God's word. Ask him for the strategies for you as a person, you as a mom, you as a wife, whatever you may be, entrepreneur. He'll give you the strategies. I promise you, he'll give you every single tactic that you need to know right when you need to know it. So that's my advice, prayer.
And I was going to say the exact same thing. Before you do anything, pray, period. As a mom, because we don't know everything, but God knows. He knows your children. He knows the gifts that he has placed in your children, and he knows, how you need to, handle them. Yeah. So prayer is the number one key, and it's always good to have some type of prayer partner that you can talk to that can pray over you. So that's the number one thing.
I would say, as long as you still growing, you still got it. Don't park at a place and stay there. Learn from it, move on. We got to keep learning. We got to keep evolving. The kids changing, we changing, everybody's changing, everybody's constantly evolving. And if you stay in a place or beat yourself up because I erred in this place, you learn from it and you move on. Then you could be better for your child when they get older, or your next child, or whoever. But that's what I would say. Keep growing, keep learning, adjust. That's one of the things that I struggle with the most. Once I set my mind on something, it's like I need it to happen just like I had it in my mind. I don't want no detours or nothing. But I had to learn how to adjust. When you learn how to adjust, it's just easier. Okay, I couldn't get them to school on time today, so okay, they got to stay at home. I missed the cutoff time. Adjust. Let's find something to do. So I would just say adjust, keep growing, keep learning. Like they said, pray, y'all. I'm so serious. I can tell the difference in how I interact with my daughter versus this day I'm praying and the next day. Like, I can see the change because every day I have to pray about something new because every day she's learning something new. So, yeah, pray, keep growing, keep learning, adjust.
So, yeah, I would definitely say pray, but that was so good because, Lady Barbie, I was saying the same thing but in a different way. Your bad day is not the end for you. The days that you fail is not the end for you. The Bible speaks about grace and mercy is new every morning. Mm-hmm. So you can see that from a different perspective if you say, tomorrow I get a new day to be a better mother. Mm-hmm. So tomorrow I get a new chance to get this right. So don't think that those days is the end. It's not the end for you. So that's why.
I would say learn to advocate for yourself. Sometimes you can just be overstimulated. Everybody needs something. All the kids touching you, and you just be like, if I don't have no more hugs to give. Can you just, please, I love you. No more kisses, please, please, just, please, no pictures, no pictures. So, you have to learn how to advocate for yourself. So, for example, Kyla is very, very affectionate. That's not my strong suit. That is not. It's probably a handful of y'all that can say y'all got a hug from me. It's just not something that I'm just. I don't even know how my kids got here. So my kids always are. They just have to touch me. They just got to be around me. And I say, Kyla, can you just give mommy 5 minutes? And she'll say, but I love you. So I have to, say, okay, well, mommy needs a little time to herself. Can you go to your room? And yesterday I told her that, and she just cried, and she cried, and she cried. And I felt really bad, but I knew if she would have stayed with me, I would have been terrible in that moment. So, I got my time, and I went back to her, and I said, why are you crying? She said, because you hurt my feelings. So, I hugged her and I explained, sometimes I just, need a little time. The same way you enjoy playing by yourself and you don't want Cairo on top of you. I need that same space. She's like, okay, I love you. So, you have to learn how to advocate for yourself because we just feel like we just got to be where they need me. I got to, and then you be terrible. You just be basura. You just... Yeah. So, advocate for yourself. It is perfectly fine to say, today, right now, I need 30 minutes. You will survive watching Mickey Mouse Playhouse. In one episode, I think you'll be okay.
And I'm going to say this last thing, kind of piggybacking off of what Devin said. Be honest with yourself. Like, I had to have a real, what I call my aunt, and I'm just crying. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, no, say, what's wrong? I'm just, getting on my nerve. And I didn't want to admit that because he's special needs, but that was my truth. And she was like, boo, you stressing out for nothing. It's okay. He's getting on your nerves today, and guess what? You still love him. So I had to learn that the hard way through holding in the fact that my nerves shot and now I'm crying. But I'm just crying because she's like, why? Because I'm irritated. I want somebody to come pick this baby up and bring him back 2 days from now. Because when he came out of the NICU, he was crying so much. And he had a very low, and even now he has a very low tolerance for loud sounds because the NICU was so silent. So he was in any little thing, we could just close the microwave and he would just go into a cry. Oh, and I'm like, I don't want to hear nothing cry. Not on a TV. I don't want to hear a siren. I don't want to hear anything because I'm sick of hearing this baby cry. And that was my truth. He was special needs. I didn't want to admit that, but just be honest with yourself. If they getting on your nerves, find you somebody that you can call and say, your nephew getting on my nerves. I don't want to be bothered with him until Friday. And that person better not judge you because they kids get on their nerves too.
I think that's good because we're under a lot of stress, or we have a lot of stress, and sometimes we don't need someone to come and swoop in and save the day. We just need someone that we can say, bro, these kids finna make me strap all 4 of them to the roof on a rainy day. Put a little Dawn on them, let the rain wash them, Like, you just need a moment to where you could just really express how you feel, and then you can go back. But because we have to keep doing, we have to keep performing, we have to keep smiling, we have to keep showing up, it becomes really difficult. So that was really good. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. I think one thing that I would say to any mom in any avenue, anywhere, is everybody said it, pray, but you have to have your own relationship with God.
Absolutely.
You can't do it through your children. You cannot do it through your husband. You cannot do it through responsibility. You can't do it through responsibilities in church. You have to build an authentic relationship with God for yourself, so that I was asking God, show me what I need to do for my children. Show me how to pray for them. Because I don't know what to ask for. Lord, bless their health, keep them alive, But how do I pray for my children? So I was asking God all of these questions, and I remember him one day, I don't know what I was doing, and he said, read to them at night. Buy books and read. This is what I'm hearing the Lord tell me, Jesus, okay? Buy books and read. He gave me other small instructions that's like, okay, But when you have a relationship with God and you're asking God, what do I need to do for mine? I know what my mama did for me. I know what Sister Susie may be doing for her little strawberries. But what do I need to do for mine? And he may say, go take them to the mall. When you have a relationship, you're able to really hone in and really hear God say what you need for your children. And not just for your children, but for you. Yeah. For you as a mother. Maybe today you don't need to pick your children up because you had a stressful day at work. Maybe you need to get somebody else to pick them up, because in that transition, you transitioning from work to picking the kids up, and you really haven't regulated yourself. Yeah. You really haven't calmed down. Maybe you need to miss church to take your children out of town. Oh, it's quiet. Maybe you need to miss Bible study to let your son play basketball. I don't know. I can't remember what I think it was an event I was putting on or something. And I had to change the date of the event because I think Iana was in cheer. She had she was doing cheer something. She was cheering somewhere. And I was like, I cannot do this day because I'm going to be with my baby. And I remember one of our sons in the church walking up to me, and he said, put $100 in my hand. And he said, Pia, I'm sowing into you because it was so beautiful that you prioritized family over this event. He said, it was beautiful that you prioritized your family. As parents, sometimes we have to prioritize. God not going to be mad at us your pastor not going to be mad at us. And if you go to True Generation, I sure ain't going to be mad. Where we going? They playing ball? I tell Apostle we going. Because at the end of the day, God gave these people to you. So having that relationship with God really, really matters. God will tell you need a therapist. Some stuff is beyond our clerical profession. Sometimes you need clinical help. You may need a little medicine. Hey. But when you have a relationship with God, he's able to give you the instruction that you need. And it's not always as deep as we think it may be. Right. But you cannot do this without him. You can't do this without him. You cannot do this without him. So I love you all. We love you all. I love you, ladies. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. Y'all give them a big round of applause. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I really pray this has helped someone in the room, even you guys online. I know it's helped me. I was over here like, Jesus, I need to take notes. But I really hope you guys benefited from our time together. I don't know how much food is left, but y'all take this stuff home. I have some mommy journals on sale. They are they're not $8. They're $18, okay? I have one up here. Let me do this real quick. It has different stuff in here. It's kind of like a guided journal. How are you feeling today? This is about you, not your kids. This is for you, not your children. Because we talk about our kids all the time, but how are you doing? What are your 3 mommy goals for the day? What's one encouraging affirmation that you can give yourself? What's a focus scripture? What's today's focus word? Then this the section I really like, vent session. A little part where you can write, man, these kids made me want to drop them off at McDonald's and drive off. That's my vent session for today, more grace. What's one positive reflection? I also like this part, small victories. We are so critical of ourselves as parents. We're so critical of ourselves as women. And one thing that I do in my mentor class, I teach, to our church, celebrate small victories. Celebrate the times where you do get it right. Don't just zone in on, oh, I'm always messing up. I'm always da-da-da-da-da. Celebrate the times when I could have popped off on Cody today, but I held my peace. Celebrate them. And then it has a part for prayer. And then it has a part for your free thoughts, okay? So if you would like a mommy journal, if you feel like this will be beneficial to you or to another mother, it's Mother's Day, y'all. Buy you, your friend, whoever, buy a mommy journal for them, okay? All right, let's pray. I do want to pray before we end tonight. I do want to pray for us. So, Father, Lord, we thank you so much. You're absolutely incredible in all of your ways. Lord, your thoughts are not like our thoughts. For whatever reason, you gave me this God idea. I'm so forever grateful, and I'm so honored to be a vessel to curate a moment like this. Lord, I thank you for every lady that's on the couch or in these chairs up here. I thank you for their life. I thank you for their womanhood. I thank you for their motherhood. I thank you for their purpose, their assignment. I thank you, God, that they are killing the game whether they know it or not. I thank you for every woman that tuned in on the live. I thank you for every woman that's in the room, for every hand that helped pull this together. Lord, I ask right now in the name of Jesus that you will release us from the fears of motherhood, that you will release us from mommy guilt, that you will provide ways of escape, that you will provide ways for self-care, ways for us to just have moments to love on ourselves, to love on our babies. I ask, God, that you will open us up to hear your voice even the more so that we can do life with you and not do life just based upon our responsibilities and everything that we have. I tear down the thoughts on the inside of us, even the ones that we're unaware of, that makes us make our children idols, that make us put them before any and everything else. Help us to prioritize. Help us to delegate. Help us, Lord, to be better women, be better people, be better believers so that we can do this with you, God, and so that our children can maximize every part of us while they have us. God, I thank you. I honor you, and I am just believing that from this night, you are growing us in our motherhood, and you're growing us in every area. We're not just moms, we're not just wives, we're not just leaders, but we're your children, we are your daughters, and we are in your hands. So lead us and guide us and continue to push us, continue to give us strength. Father, I even ask that you would heal bodies now, that you would deliver minds, God, that you would heal our souls and bring us into a state of healing so that we can be good all the way around. Make us whole women. Make us whole mothers. Make us whole wives. God, do it in the name of Jesus. We love you. We appreciate you, and we honor you. God, keep us as we leave this place. Keep us safe, cover under your protection. Let the angels go before us and prepare the way. Let wherever we're going be the exact same way we left it and better. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. I love you guys. Thank y'all for being here. And